my god. It moved my camera again. Every time. I need to fix that. I don't know why that keeps happening. Um, it is a few, yeah. Now it's more him being interested in pretty girls as opposed to thinking about whores. Graduated from whore to nice young lady. That's such a random insertion. Like, why was that necessary? I yeah. I'm sure it was like a look. He's a teenager now. I mean the character in my novel gets blushes when he sees a naked girl. So I mean it's like, but I use it as a valuable lesson into why cultures, differing cultures, are not necessarily um, uh, whatever. If it makes you feel any better, the his friend, who is a female, is equally flustered. Look what I made. Beep 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 boop goes the oven bird. Actually, I forget what the oven bird does. The cow goes. I'm a cat. I'm a sexy cat. I think I just heard a crow, but it was sounding like a human screaming. I hope it was a crow. The bird people. The birds aren't real, but the bird people are. Ah, it was Glow screaming. I could hear it all the way from Canada. Sask. The Sask. It's a what county is Edmonton in? No, you know what I meant. Alberta. That's what it's called. Yeah. I wrote a province. Thank you. I was dealing with counties today. So do you guys have counties? Do you guys have counties at all, or is that oh, okay? I'm assuming it's in Edmonton County. I wrote a Call of Cthulhu campaign that is based in Edmonton. Call of County Thulu, yeah. Yeah, it's in Edmonton. Well, most of it's in Edmonton, and then you go to crap. What's the name? There's a town north of Edmonton that you go to. This is, of course, in like 1923. No, it's a small town. You wouldn't know it, or I would be surprised if you knew it. I did end up having to look at a lot of old ass maps. The name of the town. I'm thinking of is uh, heck, where is it? Man, I don't remember. Whatever. Oh, Athabasca. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. It's a ways north of Edmonton. I think I may have misjudged the distance between them a little bit, but whatever. Who cares? Well, everybody here, give them a 10-minute buffer, 5-minute buffer. They didn't show up. It's their own damn fault. We should publicly shame them by indicating that they're not wearing underwear. I think I think having watched that video repeatedly, hours on end, has helped me in realizing subconsciously what things I should do that are best for the video. Like for the fact that I have a vocal compressor on now, but we don't have to clap. No, we don't. No, it's the same video. I am VT Lives, also known as Benji. I said that backwards, didn't I? Eh. No? I mean, we can. Wait, did I say that backwards? I did, didn't I? And you. Whatever. My name is Benji, also known as VT Lives. Yeah. So professional. Or tarbead if you're cultured. Oh yeah, he went to sleep in an alley, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait, wait. Just another structural thing. If I kind of cut you off, so I would just restart by saying the chapter number again. And this is just for the cutting. Love the video. Hush, hush. What? I have some thoughts about it. I can go into it later though. Involving what I said last time about people being good, as opposed to like I thought that when he came across that farmer or the other way around, um, that it was refreshing that they were nice to him. But you were saying that it seems like everybody else has been pretty chill to him, and it seems as though although he perceives people throughout this as being awful, and a few of them are, the vast majority of them are just kind, helpful people. And most of the problems he has are related to him being unwilling to accept people's help. Are the majority of people helpful, or are the helpful people unusual enough that they get mentioned in the story? That might be the case. Although, well, okay, when he's in the city, there's a lot of. He talks in retrospect or in passing about how awful it is, and then gives specific examples where the vast majority of people are perfectly fine. So I don't know if that's him uh, just brushing over people being shitty, or if that is an actual um, just the way he perceives it as a child. But I would say throughout most of the story, with the exception of a few people, everybody's been pretty chill or even helpful, if anything. So the interesting thing to me about um, what's his name, Trappist, is a theme throughout his time in the city that he never particularly explained. Of course, we find out a little bit more in chap. I don't know the chapter when he talks to the bard. Um, uh, Basically, he spends the entire time talking about how bad Telu priests are, though he never really explains why. Like, and part of the reason he was afraid of Trappist at first because he thought he might be a priest, but then he's like, oh no, he might be a priest, but then he wasn't. It's like, okay, but why? What's wrong with? I mean, in the context of the book, what's wrong with priests? Mm-hmm. It's also I just kind of find it funny that he doesn't call them like Teluan priests or anything, or he just calls them Telu priests, which is like saying he's a Jesus priest, or or like I don't know. It's just he's not naming them after the religion, but after the deity. Yeah. It's a different meaning though. I think Trappist means it quite literally. This is the one I know. Do we have to? Since we're talking about it so much. I didn't think it was a boy. I thought it was a grown ass man. I interpreted him as some sort of leader figure. Like not like uh big leader figure, but like in there that little group, it felt like maybe he was the head of something. Although maybe I was getting my wires crossed with the Telu mask guy. And Canis. Yeah, and that. So yeah, and Canis is the main demon, right? There's one guy. So the way I interpreted this, he went over it a little bit. So this festival is basically related to what we'll go into later with basically the equivalent of, or so there's Telu, who's like God, and then there is Encanis, who's kind of like the devil. Um, and Canis has a bunch of demons, and Telu has a bunch of followers. And so this festival is for like a week or something. They go around in the streets, and um, the Telu people try to stop the demon people, and the demon people try to cause mischief. And I believe there is one person wearing a Telu mask and one person wearing an Encanis mask. Which this is the guy wearing the Encanis mask. So I actually I was wondering if this was a metaphor in a sense for the fact that maybe like he just really wants to hammer home how shitty the priests are. Where it's like the kindness is in the devil. Yeah. They don't name him. Oh, do they? Garrick? Okay. So maybe I right. Maybe I misunderstood the whole there's only one person wearing an Uncanus mask, but it seemed like that was to me that was the guy wearing the Uncanus mask. Obviously they seem to have different celebrations in the two different sides of the city, but he's described as a man. Okay. That's a very chaotic festival. I mean, imagine if we had a festival which was everybody, half of you go out for a week and cause trouble, just don't do any real trouble. Haha, we won't actually police that. It's like, okay, that's never going to go wrong. Hmm. I pictured Hillside as basically like literally sitting up on a steep hill, and once you get up there it's like surrounded by buildings, and there's like an alley with like herringbone uh bricks, and that's where I the image I pictured, both when he went up there and got beat up, and then when he went up there later as well. I don't know why that's important, but that's how I pictured it. And then like literally like 30-40 feet below uh, is like the river, whatever it's called, Riverside or whatever, Waterside. Yeah, I did not, I did not have that issue. I gotta say, Foth describes how most places hire a troupe to play at making mischief, whereas in Tarbine, the church opts for selling masks instead of hiring many troops. That is true, yeah. So the festival itself might actually be okay, but it's just Tarbin is a bit shitty. But yeah, I can see that as like what's that Celtic no, Welsh. I don't remember the name. There's a Welsh holiday tradition where the horse skeleton goes around to the door and tries to trick you into giving it things. Oh man, I need to look that up. Ah, covered up the thing. Um, 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 Welsh horse holiday. Mary Lwyd, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it is definitely spelled that way. But it's Welsh, so who the fuck knows? Yeah, right. But yeah, basically the tradition is it's a wassail holiday in South Wales, which where a horse skull mounted on a pole is carried by an individual wearing a cloth, and they go around to um, groups of men accompany the horse on its travels through the local area, and they'll make um, they would carry it to local houses where they would request entry through song. The householders would be expected to deny them entry again through song, and the two sides would continue their responses until one failed. So it's a rap battle, and if the householders eventually relented, the team would be permitted entry and given food and drink. So it's give us some figgy pudding, except here's also a horse head. Ah, the Welsh. Yeah. Uh, Orson Welles. Yeah, the guy who caused the mass hysteria in Britain through radio play. I wish that worked nowadays. Actually, certain places in America, it 100% would. As you just gotta say it on Fox News instead of radio. You were busy being bored. Uh, so is her evil antithesis non-parial? Sorry, that was my interjection. You may continue. Proceed. You have permission. We should preface this with the beginning of that story, which is that basically the world is bathed in darkness and there's demons running amok, and Telu basically is like, well, everybody's shit. I guess there's no redeeming them. And then Parial's like, actually, they're fine. And he's like, oh, okay, fine. Well, I'll be your child. All right, man. I'm coming down there. Well, he's like big demon. Yeah. The as you were reading through that, it's time for Benji's daily mention of the Wheel of Time. Uh, the whole tying somebody to a wheel bears striking resemblance to that one clip in the teaser that they released for season 2, where Rand is tied to a wheel. It's not a metal wheel, but it just made me think of that. So what I wanted to say, other than that, um, is before we even get into the story, when I was reading about basically Trappist being asked to read this story, I kind of ended up thinking about what would happen if somebody asked me to tell a story. What would I tell? And that's I think that's a something we don't think about very often, and something that maybe we should think about more, because I don't know that I just have many stories on tap. I have one or two like poems and stuff memorized. I have like jokes and things, but I don't have any. Like my kid comes up to me and says, "Daddy, tell me a story." I'm like, once upon a time, Johnny went to the store and he bought some bread. I could tell stories of what happened in my life, but I feel like that'll go to my head. I don't know. Do you have any stories on tap? Yep. Yeah, but could you tell them? Do you think you could tell them? I want to have a kid someday, and I don't know if I'll be able to just be like, here's a story, because I just don't have any memorized. Maybe I'll have to just memorize some, you know? You gotta start memorizing stories. I, I don't think my parents ever told me stories like that. Like, they read me books, and they sang me songs, or at least my mom did, and but they never, like, tell me a story. Okay, here's a story. What was that? Oh, I thought that was outside of mine. I was like, maybe I'll have to memorize this book as I go, just so I can have the story. Maybe I can memorize the story of Telu. Ugh. I not to talk too much about my own shit, but the main character of my novel is intended to be from a society that is very religious, which I'm having trouble writing because I'm very anti-religion. Yeah, it's not that I find it hard to write that type of zealousness. It's that it's I have trouble finding the balance between not enough and too much. Because if you can go way overboard and just make them like the people from chapter whatever, but like that just is suspension of disbelief only goes so far. My parents didn't tell me many stories about their past lives. Um, but I did, unless we were like looking at old photos and stuff. We found some an old reel. Apparently, everybody in my family used to be the hot shot in town who had a video camera when nobody else did. I think it was like my grandmother when she was a girl, like little, and they had like video. This is like the 30s or 40s. Um, and it's just like, geez, they had cameras back then. I did, well, not only that, but they had like portable cameras that people could buy, like just ordinary people. Or worse, I don't think my family is rich. I mean, they weren't like I don't know. Yeah, remember this book? He's a monk vibe about him. What? So I also didn't care about the story. Like I kind of didn't care at the beginning. And then it went on for like 20 pages, and it should have gone on for a quarter of that, if that. But the problem is the fact that he spent so much time on it tells me that either it's really important later on, or he was really interested in that story, the author. Which I feel a little bad saying. If it was like something that was like, oh yeah, I'm so excited about this. I love this bit of lore, and I'm like, that lore's stupid. It goes from sorry, from page 172 to 183, so it's 11 pages. Right, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I think later he tells about how, I think it's the next chapter. He talks about how that affected him, which I guess we could talk about that in that chapter. I feel like this chapter was more of a prelude to the next one, and the next one's the actual important part of it, whereas this is just a telling what we're going to talk about in the next chapter. Yeah, that's where they discussed what he had just said. Well, he talks about how um basically in reference to the last chapter, he talks about how that him being um being unwilling to help others for the same thing that he was suffering from did more to affect his persona than the actual beatings and stuff that he was given, which I think was the more or less the point of the previous chapter, to show that he was suffering from more than just physical harm. I mean, that was pretty much all that chapter was about, right? Like he just said, and then went right back to it. All right, he had some mulled cider, which smelled great. Like I could taste that. I love mulled cider. There's a poll. Everybody vote. Hey, you want a tar bean? You know the bit where he's stuck to a bean that's covered in tar bean. Oh yeah, that was the secret hidden chapter. That was it was like the extra track on the album. Oh yeah, he says at the end, he's like, until I met, like I didn't care about anything until I met Scarpy, the bean side. That's the third that's the third sector of the city. Tarbean. Man, you guys are wrong. Obviously, duh. Which is a currency. It's a coin. It's he's not going to bestow on them one ability to do things. Wait, so just before we get into this, speaking about currency, although maybe we should talk about that more when he's at the university and just talks. No, not even that. When he just talks about currency a lot. I get the feeling that Rothfuss is really into currency, which not necessarily economics, just currency. I get it. I find it interesting. But are there gold coins? Is has he mentioned bronze? He's mentioned iron. He's mentioned iron pennies, silver pennies, silver talents. Are there iron talents? So is a silver pen? No, wait. Is an iron talent worth more than a silver penny? Also, are there any others besides talents or pennies? I feel like there's another one. Jots. That's what it is. Yeah, I think a jot was like a nickel. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not from USA, so you don't know what a nickel is. Do you know what nickels are made out of? Zinc. They used to be made out of nickel. There, there is nickel in a nickel, but there's significantly more zinc than nickel. Why the fuck does America still have pennies? They're worth nothing. You can't buy things with them. The only reason to have a penny is to trick people in that into thinking something's a dollar cheaper than it is. Like, yeah, that time that he fondly remembered that time that he lit a child on fire. Do you do you think afterwards his parents saw he was all burned and they said, "Our son"? But actually, no, he was an orphan and he had no parents. He never had parents. So yeah, that was odd. The yeah, and I mean, I couldn't tell whether that was like I don't know, a picture of his sister or something, or whether he was just like um uh hoarding porno mags. Found him in the woods. I liked that. It was like mere something, meerkat, mir. Mirteranel. I just flipped directly to that page. That was actually crazy. literally. She's good at naming. More than that, he dies. He fully dies. Yeah. Celatose reminds me of Heimdall. I feel like it felt more than just good eyesight, but it felt like magical eyesight. So I have two things. One, at what point did you realize that that was Haliax? Was it when he said it? Okay. Suddenly became evil. It's like, oh, okay. My wife. So my other question related to that is, how does wife die? They went into so much detail about how Lanre died the first time, but then he just shows up and is like, "Oh yeah, my wife died." I think he killed her. My wife. I interpreted that his becoming fell not as my wife died, I'm evil now, but as he shouldn't have been brought back from the dead. Like that was whatever they brought back from the dead was not him. Yeah. So basically, I think they brought the body back, but not the soul. So I think something along those lines caused him to basically kill Lyra, and that on top of his I mean, even if he had killed, sorry, even if his wife had died or whatever, he wouldn't then go around and decide that he's going to destroy everything, but also force his friends to watch as he destroys things. That's dark. Like, that's not something that people who are sad do. That's something psychopaths do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that part. That's important. What did I watch recently where someone couldn't die and it was a curse? Oh, I know. South Park. Well, because so there was a whole arc from like 2009 or something, where they were like doing the like spoof on like Batman and stuff, um, where basically Kenny, who can't die, like the joke running joke is like, oh my god, they killed Kenny, and he just comes back like perfectly fine. But like they actually made like a big deal of he's like I can't die. Do you know of any day with his leg? That's like his superpower is like he can't die. I don't know why I was watching that recently. Oh, I know, because I was watching it. Like I was watching the newer seasons and I remembered that. It's like, oh no, what's that? Oh my god, this fucking car, man. Can you hear it? That won't help much. So one of my neighbors has, not to cut you off or anything, but one of my neighbors has this hobby car that is the loudest fucking fit machine in the world, and he's the type of person who quite clearly enjoys making as much noise as possible, and the more he can inconvenience people, the better. He runs this thing at like 3 a.m. and he has a stupid little motorcycle that doesn't even look like it's fun to drive that just makes as much noise as possible, and he drives it in circles as if to just make as much noise as possible. He comes home with his at like 2 a.m. with his speakers blasting. It's like fuck that guy. Now it's gonna get hot in here because my window's closed. That reminded me. I don't remember if it was this chapter, but we got an origin of the speaking things three times. I I think that might have been in the Telu chapter. Oh my god. The yeah, they someone said something three times. Um, don't remember what it was, but it was like, oh, okay, so it's based in like not folklore, like religious text or whatever. Mm. Yeah, so Telu asked each person to cross to his side three times. I think that's what it was. No, I don't think that's true. Well, yeah, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, he struck him three times with the hammer, but that wasn't what I remember reading. Yeah, I don't remember. Sorry, all I can think about is the fucking car revving. You gotta go put sugar in his fucking gas tank. Okay, I didn't see that. Did I spell it wrong? Oops. So, interesting thing about this chapter, and I think I have this in my notes to talk about later, but I believe this is the last time in this reading that they have an interlude. It just stops. They just stopping. That's weird. Mm. Wait, did he? No, this wasn't even. Wasn't even an interlude. He just said that as part of his story. Yeah. So there's literally in this entire section that was one interlude, and we had like four, five before. Weird. Yeah. 7's typically a good myth number to have because that gives you a reason for having 7 days in a week. So if you want your calendar in your story to have 7 days, that's a good reason why. Also, seven is a very weird number. Yes, one. Nobody voted for a secret third thing. Coal fires won the poll individually. So, was that the end? What confused me about this chapter was I couldn't figure out how his story was heretical. It sounded like it was fine. Like it sounded like he was making it seem like the the god was great. Like there was no negative. I don't know. Gotta trick it into focusing. There it goes. Hmm. Different. Yeah, I think probably the bowing. I missed that, him bowing. But the other part of that is, it wasn't just that story. Like they were there because of him. They were seeking him out, and they heard that he was like saying heretical things. So I imagine, unless he was saying something insanely pious, they would have caught him anyway. I couldn't tell whether he was being, well, was he being um resistant? Was he just like being calm in the face of badness, or does he seemed like he had a way out of it, like that, like it didn't matter if he was caught because he would just get out anyway. Yeah, it felt like a, well, this again. He's good. Oh, side note, um just preach some. No, this is familiar. uh this is what happens when you are not careful enough around a saw. Specifically, this is a Japanese pole saw. It's a hand saw. So I was sawing something and it slipped and caught my arm. Mm, made a nasty gouge. Yeah, the saw cuts are not clean at all. They're. I mean, maybe you can see that one. Like that's the kind of scar you get, or not scar, but like scab cut from it. Like it's not clean at all. There's it's just you it rips you. It doesn't slice you. I that it kept appearing on the screen, so I figured I better explain it. Oh yeah, there you go. On purpose. Just saw off my arm. Ugh. It's their scientific name. Their Latin name. Mm. You ever think about the fact that um what was it called? Taxonomy and ends at the uh individual level. Like I don't have a scientific name. Like my second scientific name should be like blah 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 Homo sapiens sapiens Benji. Right? Yeah. They don't do it that way. It's stupid. I want my own scientific name. It's a good idea. We gotta get you like like a hyper quality camera, and like a big old bright light shining in your face. Just IMAX. Who's Aleph? Hmm. It's called Chapter 29. Chapter 29. The Sith. Also, there's only ever one master and a Sith and one apprentice, but we have thousands of Jedi's, and this is balanced. He did bring balance to the Force. I perceived the way he spoke about it as me being correct when we discussed that, as in what chapter was it? No, 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 no. The one you just did. Hmm. I thought he said literally, um, they killed my parents because they were asking around or searching for the answers. Oh, maybe I hadn't gotten there yet. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, he said it like explicitly, which is what I was remembering. What can I say, man? I'm just very smart. I've been practicing. I need to open my window more. It's hot. Hot. Well, as soon as I do this, he's gonna start that engine again. Not really. Yeah. It's not the same. Not the same car. That one's like a. It shakes the house. Like it's. Like that's just someone's normal car. I can't what was I about to say? Oh yeah, I liked the beginning um part of that too when he's basically goes into an inn and he's like, oh no wait, that's the next chapter. Never mind. Yeah, that's the next chapter. My bad. I loved that. He basically bluffed his way into royalty or into nobility. Now he's got his little stupid, just tricycle-sized motorcycle that makes as much noise as possible. The thing's this big, like it's tiny. And he just rides it around the circle. Yeah. Yeah. This is this was not the one where he was getting shoes, right? That was the next one. Yeah. Like so that goes back to what I was saying about everyone's nice. I mean, yeah, maybe. We were. Yeah. Here it comes. There's no secret third option. There is no gray area. Next poll is woman is good, woman is evil. That's what the Mormons tried to not the Mormons, the traveling God salesman. More not Mormons. No, the other ones. The other ones. Jehovah's Witnesses. That's what the Jehovah's Witnesses try to tell me is that humans and dinosaurs lived alongside one another. Or at least that's what their pamphlet tried to tell me. Yeah. Dinosaur eat man. Oh, hell yeah. Can you do that? Okay. Oh man, we're neck and neck. This is one of the best episodes from Community. The debate one. I guess so. This is the one where there's a kid in a wheelchair and he like throws himself, and Jeff catches him, and they're like, "See, man is good," and then Annie kisses him and he drops the guy. He's like, "Man is evil." Awesome. So good. Hmm. Aww. I like that. I loved how he just he didn't even acknowledge that anything was different. He just said, "Oh, Kavath, you go do this." uh, he reminds me of a certain character, and from a certain show or some movie or something, but I cannot place it. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Holy shit! Mochi has rated me with a party of 9. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, misfits from Mochi. Um, Hi, welcome. We are deep into deep in there into the second reading of The Name of the Wind. Ekami's quiet. Sounds fine to me. Um, here, I can turn her up. How's that? Hello, hello. On my end, all you can hear is motorcycle. No, no. I mean, it's your, but your uh, thing is at the same level as mine. Like they're going up to the same level. I don't know. Yeah, hi, welcome. Hush, hush. What? Sorry about the motorcycle. Yeah, so we. Fucking asshole. Yeah, so we are reading, The Name of the Wind. Patrick Rothfuss. We are about halfway through the book. Well, we're about halfway through our discussion of our second reading, which ends at halfway through the book. So if you do not want spoilers for the book, then leave. Get the fuck out of here. Hey, thanks for the follow, Perwethian. Um, but yeah, if you want to stick around and you don't care about spoilers, then yeah, we will we will have fun. Wait, so Mochi, seriously? Amy is quiet? Everything's what? So this whole time you haven't been able to hear her? Well, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, audio track set to 1. The desktop sound, which is your audio, is set to monitor only.
I'm gonna listen to your stream real quick.
I found it.
No, I can hear you. I can hear me on your stream.
No, I found it and I fixed it before you did that. Fuck.
Oh, shit. Oh well, that's fine. Well, I can still, if we want to use your video, I'll just put the audio that I have.
Yeah, that's fine.
Done. That's fine. Because I'd rather have your better quality stream anyway, because you have the background that moves.
From this point onward, in fact, I'll make a big noise. Sorry. That'll show up easily on the track.
Yep.
Yeah. So from this point onward, you can use my audio.
Yes.
Which should theoretically be better and on separate tracks.
Yeah.
Perwethian.
Okay, that's fine.
Perwethian.
Glosa should have clapped at the beginning. Yeah, that would have solved all of our problems.
So I should tell you what the problem was, because it's stupid. Your audio was set to monitor only.
Oh shit! Really? Aww.
And that's why you should always click monitor and output if you're doing monitoring, because if you forget, there's no real way to tell, because it still bounces around and looks like everything's fine. Also, for some reason, OBS doesn't have a main fader. Yeah. So you can't see like what audio is actually going out. You can only see the inputs.
Interesting. Huh.
Whatever.
Yeah. I'm going to clip that, I'll have you know.
Oh, God damn it.
It's the name of the wind. Right, so we were talking about Trappist being a good person, and
now all I can think about is the Zoidberg.
The Zoidberg. Oh. Verfleben. And the shoemaker as well. He was a good person, and I was actually talking about this with Aries. I was like, oh, he got a pair of shoes for free that belonged to his son, and he just said, "I don't sell used shoes." And Kavoth's like, "Okay," and he just kind of walked out with the shoes. And I was like, "Oh, did his son die, or
No,
is
he
the
said
son
when
just
he was
left?"
a kid. His
When he
son,
was a
his son
kid.
is grown up. This is an old ass guy.
Yeah.
He said my son used to wear these when he was your age. Is what he said.
Yeah. So that to me, I don't know if that means his son is dead
When
or
he
if
was
he's
your
just.
age.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
It's just hand me downs.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Doesn't mean his son isn't dead, but I don't think it was like a child death.
No. I thought I meant like now he's dead. Like maybe he died when he was, I don't know, 30 or something.
he still wears those shoes in his 30s.
Yeah. He's got tiny feet.
Just very, very small feet.
It's very small feet.
You know what they say about small feet? Small shoes.
Small shoes. What? Corwin crypt that. Thank you. Whatever. I'm gonna clip that on your channel too.
Or whatever the noises he makes.
Does the crab claws. Yeah. And this was also an interesting chapter to more so talk about Kildan people and the Siaru language, because the caravan husband and wife are Kildan.
Are you pronouncing the C differently in the language than you are in the name?
Kildan is written with a C and Siaru is written with an S.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? I don't know.
So the one that's written with an S is the language of the people who are written with a C.
I think so, because I think and anytime he says Kieldish, it's like their background. But if he says they're speaking Siaru, that's the language.
This motherfucker.
This man is gonna get murdered tonight. Also, the place Kiel is apparently pronounced the Shald. Oh, he did mention the Shald. So is that the place, Kiel? But it's so you pronounce it Shald? That's interesting.
Yeah, where's the D?
Where's the H?
Well, it's like CEA.
Oh, shall.
The shit.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. It did have
Shald.
a D in it. Okay.
Yeah, Shalish.
Where's the D?
Yeah. Where's the D?
Roughly.
Sorry, no, it's okay.
That's a quote. Like conservatives when they learn about gender non-conformity.
Oh.
Where's the D?
Oh my god. God damn it.
And if I offended you and you were in my chat, then go away.
Those conservatives. The
The damn
and then he also-
Tories. That's not the right country.
Yeah, so it was good for an introductory, or more of an introduction to like the Sheldon. I guess I'll say Shaolin people, and Siaru, because he also mentions the Aturan language too, because he's like his Aturan was not good, and I was like, oh, okay.
I think that's the language he's speaking.
Yeah, Kavoth. Yeah, I assume.
So it's English. It's common tongue.
Aturan. Yeah. So then the next chapter, chapter 33, is called The Sea of Stars. And this is the teenage boy chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Go.
I love her.
She's great.
She's like,
I love her.
She's probably gonna come back, right?
Hope so.
If I was his age, like, she's like ideal woman
Fair.
for me.
She is pretty neat.
Equally, if you turned her into my age, she would be ideal woman for me.
Fair.
But
yeah, I'll go into her description and her personality a bit. So in this chapter, Kavoth is now traveling with the caravan, with the people who I spoke about before. And in this caravan, he begins to speak with a young woman named Denna, and starts to realize he has feelings for her. Denna is interested in Kavoth, who she sees as a young man so sure of where he's going, quite the opposite of herself. Denna is often described as, if Kavoth asks her, "Oh, where are you going on this trip?" and she isn't quite sure. She's like, "We're heading in this direction. We'll get there."
She's a little young to have that sort of attitude.
Yeah, she's, what is she?
You expect that like an old person.
14? Yeah, it's a very wise, kind of well-traveled
15,
thing
right?
to say. He's 15 at this
And
point,
he said
yeah.
she was older than him, so she must be like 16.
Oh, fair, yeah. The Sea of Stars in question, which is what the chapter's named after, is when they spend kind of a special moment by some water that reflects the night sky. So it's like, it almost seems as if it's a sea of stars. So Rothfuss gets very poetic in this chapter, and I literally specifically wrote, "Here comes that good Rothfuss poetry." So, yeah, Denna's fun. And this is probably a very big thing for Kavoth, because it's, I think, the first woman that he's shown romantic interest in the story.
Well, yeah, the only other two women in the story are his mom and the prostitute.
Oh yeah, right.
Those are like
True.
the only two other women that have lasted longer than a chapter. There have been exactly 3 women in this entire book who have lasted for longer than one chapter.
Oh yeah, true. Because I was gonna be like, wait, Lyra. Oh no.
Well, you could count Lyra, but
Lyra also passed. So
she only existed for that one chapter. She was mentioned outside of that chapter, but
yeah.
she's my age.
She was my age, perhaps a year older. Okay. Fair. Yeah.
I think at the end of this reading, I was actually thinking back. I don't think any of the women at the university were mentioned in more than one chapter either, specifically. So I think there have been exactly 3 women at the end of this reading that have been mentioned in more than one chapter, or that have existed for more than one chapter.
Yeah.
That's like, come on, man.
Yeah. Which is why we'll get into this a little bit more, but I was hoping that Denna would be in it longer, but then, hopefully she'll come back, and I'll get into that more.
In fairness, there's not really that many characters at all.
Also fair, yeah.
But
which bear is best? Yes. Who did that poll?
I don't know, man.
What was the third option? A secret third option. There's always a secret third option. I had to get real close to read that. I was like, get on my glasses.
I didn't have anything good to talk about in the poll, so I mean...
Okay.
I couldn't very well say if your age suddenly changed, would you date this young lady? Seems it's a bit weird.
Poll, is Denna hot? On a scale of 1 to hot, how is Denna?
Stares at you. Be very careful.
Oh god. Chapter 34. I'm trying to remember which one this was. Oh yes, this was a really interesting chapter.
This was the one where we had the inevitable we've introduced any sort of romance, so now we're going to introduce another person who will complicate it, because that's the only possible way you can have relationships and stories.
But he doesn't even focus that much on it. Like, at first I was like, oh, this is where we're going, but it becomes a different, the chapter has a different focus as it goes.
I mean, he trounces him, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's true.
It doesn't, the kind of slight swap at the end is probably the what am I trying to say? Most of that chapter is him being jealous. Like, and I don't even think him actually act totally wrecking the other guy. even changed that. It wasn't until I think it was the next chapter, maybe,
Yes.
where she met him when he left. That I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so I don't know.
Yeah, so to kind of give a summary, so chapter 34 is called Yet to Learn. And in this chapter, the caravan takes on a new passenger. I call them Jossen or Yossen. It's Josn.
Josson.
Yossen. Who Kavoth becomes jealous of as he rides next to and teasingly, quote unquote, flirts with Denna. One night, Yossen brings out his. I don't remember if he ever said his name. Age.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Because I was trying to figure out whether I'd had to use the FBI keyboard man meme on him.
FBI, open up.
Boom, 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 boom.
One night, Yossen brings out his lute, and Kavoth asks to see it. Kavoth begins to play and gets lost in the music, and everyone in the caravan is shocked when he finishes playing.
Everyone does the thing where they standing there, and then one of them drops as a glass and it shatters. And
yeah. Pin drop. Kavoth leaves and walks to the wagons. And I made a note here that said that this is one of the few instances I've seen where Rothfuss switches to third person for a moment and suggests Kavoth may have cried, because he says, in this quote, everyone deserves time alone, and he has yet to learn what sorrow is. Which is interesting to add that third person narrative in when all of it has been first person when Kavoth's explaining it. But I don't know.
So you're not wrong. But the voice there isn't third person; it's first person. What's the name of it? Basically, you're talking to your past self.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense. Is it first person retrospective, maybe? But he's not. It's the same person. He's still talking from his own voice, but he's kind of looking at himself from an not outside perspective, but another perspective. From a future perspective.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
That's what that is.
Fair. But it's one of the few moments that he does that.
Right, yeah. I don't think he's done that yet.
Mm-mm. Not that I noticed, anyway.
He may have done that. No. Not that I remember, at least. Hey, Mochi says we can hear you now.
Woohoo! Ah!
Just
not the cutlery.
Drop the cutlery.
Not the cutlery.
It was actually a spoon. So you were 100% on that.
I know my cutlery dropping sounds.
Arguably, the whole story is first person retrospective. No. Well, I might not have the right terminology there.
But arguably.
Yeah, it depends on what you mean by first person retrospective. Because it might be that I got that wrong, and there's another name for it.
Yeah.
Since Kavoth is telling his past to Chronicler. Yeah, but he's not referring to his past as another. He's saying I did this. You're talking about yourself directly in the past, as opposed to you're talking to your past self.
Yeah. Or
about your past self in such a way that you are an outside observer. You get into really complicated, specific micro voices that I don't have the terminology for.
Apparently neither do I.
I could ask
but I understand what you mean.
GPT. ChatGPT will know. ChatGPT knows all.
Knows all. All hail.
All hail ChatGPT. Problem with ChatGPT is because you can ask anything, you have to be like, okay, wait, no, how do I actually say this?
It's fair.
What is the name of the voice when a person talks about their past self in the third person?
Is third person retrospective a thing? I don't know.
Referring to oneself in the third person is known as Elysium. That's not what I asked.
That's not correct. Or, yeah, that's not what you asked, yeah.
When
Elysium.
somebody talks about their past self in third person, they're using historical Elysium.
Oh. Huh. Never heard it in that terminology.
Historical Elysium is a literary or rhetorical device where a person refers to themselves in the third person when describing events or actions that occurred in their past. It can be used for various reasons, such as emphasizing objectivity, creating distance or detachment, or expressing humility. There you go.
There we go.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
All hail.
So there you go. You just look at us. We're an educational stream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
The more you learn.
More you
No.
learn. More you
Take
know.
a look. It's in a book. Reading
That was horrifying. You're gonna have to listen back to how that came across. That was fucking terrifying.
Butterfly in the sky.
No,
I can
when you-
fly twice
And
as
when you got
high.
real close to the mic, because it just sounded like if. Every time that voice catches me off guard, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And the when you got real close to the mic, it sounded like as if rain was hitting asphalt, but if it was the loudest thing you've ever heard in your life. Like the raindrops were like,
Like that?
yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. To peak your mic.
I don't know how they'll hear it because of the compressor.
Yo, it's
Because you don't
Gonna
have
be
the
something.
compressor. You don't get the compressor. You're not allowed.
oh, that's true. That's true.
You do not
Well,
have permission for compression. Permission to
Construct additional pylons.
construct additional pylons.
Eh.
I'm apparently loopy. Is what we've learned.
Hey, that's fine.
today.
That happens with like most of our co-streams. Let's be fully real here.
It didn't happen at the last book club. I was like,
No.
and then I liked the part where Kvoth went to the that was
Did the thing and
grumble,
what?
grumble, grumble,
Yeah.
grumble. I'm so tired.
I thought it was good, but
No, it was good.
yeah. So chapter 35 as well. We talked a bit about this before, but this is the chapter where the caravan arrives in Imre, probably, and this is
you spell it?
Kvoth's
IMRE?
destination. IMRE. Imre. I pronounce Lonre, so I probably would say Imre. but-
Actually, that's pronounced Lanner.
Lanner. Actually. Get it right. So Imre is Kvoth's destination because it is the city closest to the university. Rita, who is the wife of the caravan leader, gives Kvoth a jot.
She's mentioned multiple chapters too. That's 4.
That's true. And she's actually, she's still alive. She's just out of the story right now.
Yeah.
Rita gives Kvoth
So
a jot.
two of them are alive of those 4.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah. Rita gives Kvoth a jot, and Derek, who is the other young man in the caravan, explains Keldish traditions to him. The caravan will continue on to Annalyn, and Denna asks Kvoth if he would come with them. Kvoth holds that he must go to the university and says his goodbyes to Denna, saying he will meet her where the roads meet in the future.
Why didn't he just ask, "Hey, you want to come hang out?"
They
Like,
won't be smart
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
be arcanists.
So
Artemis?
I didn't catch that Derek or whatever was young.
The
Did he
Derek-
describe him as young, or did you perceive him as young? Because I don't remember.
did I say young?
With it. Yeah,
Young man?
You've called him a young man repeatedly.
Oh, I don't actually remember. I might have just assumed that.
I did not picture him as young, but I may have missed it. If he was.
Ooh. So he was introduced. When was the caravan introduced? That was 33? No, 32. Let's see. 32.
32.
32. 32. Cobbler's cobblers. Da, 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 da. Okay. So brown leather. Da, 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 4 days, 6 days. He spoke. Da, da, da. Roland's wife, Rita. Where does he introduce Derek? I think it's on page 229 or 230.
One of the men stood upright atop a wagon, shading his eyes with the hand. He called out, raising his voice over the said, blah, blah, blah. Don't let him scare you off, kid. He's decent enough. And then he went back to his work.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I just called... I guess I'm just assuming people are younger. I don't know why.
He stood head and shoulders taller than me, 20 or so. Tall and blonde.
Oh, okay. So then that's what I would have said,
young.
young man.
He's pretty young.
Yeah, 20-something. Yeah. Okay.
I just didn't even read the words 20 or something. To be fair, I was reading it in bed all in one sitting, so.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, this was a okay chapter. I mean, it gave a little bit more into like Kael'dish or Shaldish traditions. Because I mean, Derek talked about
they're so childish.
Rita. They're so God damn it. That's a bad joke. Yeah, so yeah, no, it was a good chapter. I do hope that we meet Denna again. And I also hope that she's not the woman who presumably maybe dies. That Kavoth loved.
Well,
we don't know what happened to her, but...
So, I was going to say he killed her, but also I don't actually... he didn't say that. Those might have been two separate people. He said he killed an angel, but he also clearly loved someone who is now dead. Or gone. Those aren't necessarily the same person.
Yeah. He... because Chronicler mentioned, they say... you killed an angel or something, or like maybe he remarks to himself, this is the man who killed an angel. But it could be two different people.
Right.
Be interesting though it would be interesting though if like, I wonder if it's going to become something like a Haliax-esque situation, like if there's going to be some parallels.
I think it kills Haliax. Haliax technically an angel, right?
That'd be interesting. Yeah. He's basically Lucifer.
No,
fallen
really.
Or am I right? The fallen angel.
I would perceive what's his name? Encantus as like Lucifer type. Although,
true.
If you think about it, I never actually a lot of times when you introduce, or when cultures introduce a big man, if you will, an all-father, there's an antithesis to that. In Hebrew-based religions like Christianity and Islam and Judaism, there is no direct antithesis to God. There's no like dichotomy between a creator and a destroyer.
Right.
There's a creator who created all, and then one of the things he created decided to rise up against him. And that, I mean, we kind of perceive it as like heaven and hell are opposites. Like that sort of thing, but really they're not. If you think about it in that regard. Like it's, I'd never actually considered that before. There's no inverse God. There's no negative God.
Yeah. That is interesting.
Okay. Look what we learned today. All about religion. I now know more than every single religious person in the Bible Belt. Not that that was hard.
More than. um. So the next chapter as well is more of a focus on his journey to the university, and that's chapter 36, which is called Less Talents. I haven't actually written too much about this one, but I can kind of give a very brief synopsis.
Wait, less?
Less talents, yeah. Oh god, did I write it wrong?
Well, no, I don't know, but
I don't think so. I think it's less talents.
Is it less or fewer? I mean, not what he wrote, but correct. What's correct?
Oh, well, it's because it's talking. There's a line where his admission is.
Right.
Three less talents. That's what. So it's a part of a sentence.
I hate the terminology of that. By the way, the way they described that doesn't. It's like, what the hell does that mean?
Means
like,
he gets in for free.
No, I understand that. Why would they say negative as less?
I don't know. Yeah. The university's weird. Very specific.
Like, it was so much so that this smart-ass child who already knows all the sciences was like, oh, well, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of funny, too. He was like, oh, right. Yeah. So, to give a summary, Kvothe enters the university and makes a case with the chancellor and several masters to admit him as a student, using a method of cheating from watching interviews with other students, as well as his own knowledge. He's admitted for, quote, less 3 talents. I've also made a note here that says Laura knew Kvothe's father as Arleden the Bard, which makes Kvothe very angry. I think I'd also made...
Arleden or Arleden?
I pronounced it Arleden, but Arleden would work.
I guess it's poll time, huh?
Arleden.
You're wrong, so I mean, we're gonna have to do a poll.
I'm wrong. Pshaw.
How do you spell it?
Arliden. Arleden. I mean, I guess if it's Arleden, it would be kind of funny because it'd be like, he's a charlatan. But yeah, I think this is the first time that we hear his name, or maybe one of the first times. I don't remember reading his name before.
Oh, sorry. Too late, coal fires. All right, well, option 3 can be
the takers for Arliden. Oh no.
any votes for 3 will count as Arliden.
Yeah, third secret option. A secret third thing.
See, that's why you gotta have a secret third thing, just in case.
Exactly. Man, my computer is so freaking slow. I just want to vote. There we go.
My problem is every time... I have my preview full screen so that I can just be watching it.
Yeah.
But every time I click the chat, it minimizes, and I have to go back in and right click and say project. Ugh.
Oh, God. 3? I'm gonna be wrong.
Yeah, if you lose this poll, you're wrong.
No, I'm banned. I'm banished from Twitch forever. But yeah, general thoughts of this chapter were, I mean, good introduction overall to the university. I'm not really a big fan of long chapters where they'll introduce a lot of characters all at once, and then like it doesn't really have any substance.
So you hated the Iliad.
The Alien?
Iliad, sorry.
I never read the Iliad. That's also how a lot of like Icelandic sagas start, by the way. It'll be like Arnoldson, the son of Arnold,
son of Johnny,
the grandfather of Egil. Yeah, like, and I'll be like, all right, skip this shit. Like, we'll get to the good part, because it usually doesn't matter.
the Iliad is infamous for having a chapter where every single ship is named, and it's like 300 ships.
Oh, jeez, good lord, no, thank you.
Actually, how many How many ships are named in the Iliad? Book 2 of the Iliad, list of Greek forces and the number of ships they brought to Troy is given, with the total number of ships being listed as 1,186.
God damn. Oof. Yeah, no, I won't be reading the Iliad anytime soon.
That doesn't say that's how many were named, but that's how many there were.
Right.
The exact number of ships mentioned varies depending on the translation and interpretation of the text. Overall, while there's no exact number of ships named in the Iliad, it's safe to say there were many.
It's safe to say. I'm wrong. No. Banned from Twitch.
Winner.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, winner, pants on
Dinner.
dinner. Pants for
I'm
dinner.
gonna call him. Oh my, tasty denim.
Oh no! You don't eat you don't eat the pants.
Oh, wink wonk. Should have spent your
Wonk.
channel points to rig the election. I could have, but I wanted to be an honest
Stop
person.
the steal.
So generally with this chapter, I thought it was okay, but a little long, and there was a lot of names that I know I'm gonna meet them properly with the chapters to come when we have more interactions with them. But I was just like, okay, next question. Okay, next question. You know,
I feel like we're never gonna really care about more than half of those people.
I mean, we're halfway through the book. Probably not.
Well, no, I mean, like, literally, I feel like there were, how many were there? Like 8?
Yeah, there was like 6 to 8. Yeah.
I feel like literally half of them are never going to be mentioned again. Of those, like, they're just not important, or they
Which
or
is
they
something
mention in passing and not matter. That's my guess. Like, it's not going to be like Harry Potter where they have like you go through and you do things with every single professor.
Yeah. Rothfuss likes to do that too. Like, he will name names and then maybe not bring them back, really.
I don't know if you've noticed this. I don't think he did it so much in the first reading, but in the second reading,
he did it a bit.
He does a lot of so and so did this, and then they did this. This person named by name did this. So, like, without actually saying this person's named this, he says a couple times that they did something, then the third time, or however many of times, he just suddenly starts referring to them by their name without ever introducing them. So he just starts calling them by name. I know it's not as bad because he actually starts with the naming of, or sorry, the using of pronouns before moving to names. Mm-hmm. But I've known people who, when they tell stories or things that happen in their life, they just start by naming people. Like, they just don't bother to think, maybe these people don't know who I'm talking about. Nope, they just throw names out there as if you're supposed to know who they are. It reminded me a bit of that. But I've been noticing that instead of formally naming people, he'll just start referring to them by their name.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He did that a couple times in this reading.
Yeah, he did, actually. Like, even with the masters, like, he didn't...
It caught me by surprise a few times, because I was like, wait, who? What? That person.
Have they been... Yeah. Yeah, because he likes to kind of describe them first, but not always in full detail. Like, he'll introduce them, say maybe give them a couple details about how they look, and then say, Scarpy said this. And I was like, oh, okay, that's Scarpy.
So when he was meeting, the asshole...
Pike? Or,
in the library.
Oh, Ambrose.
Ambrose.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Chapter...
Okay, here it is.
37.
Yeah. he describes this person, and he says he tapped his pen for another few minutes. Blah blah blah. He flipped through the ledger. He glanced up briefly, scowled again. Blah blah blah. Ambrose put down his pen again. Listen.
Yeah.
He said.
Yeah.
So he never actually said his name was Ambrose. All he did, or until suddenly he just did. Although he did it in such a way where he said Ambrose put down his pen again, which is something he did previously. So there's no way you could mistake it. However, it is confusing.
Yeah, it's like a narrative. I mean, it is a narrative choice for him to do that. It's interesting to do it. It didn't throw me off, but that's also because the way that he did it, I was like, oh, he tapped his pen again. This must be Ambrose. Okay. But
I wonder with how much intention he had him tap his pen just so that he could then say he tapped his pen again so that he could introduce him that way.
Yeah. That is interesting. How did we learn that? Yeah.
As someone who claims to be a really good storyteller, I feel like Kvothe, that was a big mistake for Kvothe to have made, to forget to introduce someone before referring to them by name.
Yeah, especially if like Chronicler's writing all this down too.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to confuse anyone.
Right. Why would Chronicler do that?
Yeah.
Why would Chronicler do this?
Which not all men. Chronicle would never do this. But yeah, I mean that even kind of goes against what we were talking about before, where in our first reading we got the sense of the Chronicler's writing this down to be like he's writing it in with Kvothe's cadence, but it's his own words. But in this one, it doesn't make sense if Chronicler writes that in that way, but it makes sense if Kvothe does, if he just isn't really a storyteller often. I mean, certainly he has never told this story in as much detail, it sounds like.
True.
So there is that too.
Yeah.
But I agree, it is confusing. It's just an interesting narrative choice.
But that was interesting to me. It just caught me by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It made me thonk.
Thonk. Yeah. And like that's different from like when we're introduced to other characters that are like really pivotal too, like Haliax. Haliax is named. Like he's described, but then another character says, "Hey, Haliax."
Yeah. The key difference there is someone says it aloud whilst speaking to them, as opposed to
someone speaking to Kvothe. He's not going to say his own name. As opposed to the
narrator saying it without introducing them is the big difference.
Yeah. Interesting.
I should ask ChatGPT what form of voice. No.
Yeah, so kind of going into the Ambrose chapter, I actually didn't write too much for this chapter, but chapter 37 is called Bright-Eyed, and it goes into how Kvothe gets his bunk and a meal plan and meets his fellow students, including Manet, Simon, Minette, Simon, and others. He tries to get into the library, but Ambrose doesn't allow him into the archives. He's a big old bastard, and he says, "Nah, you're not on the list. Get out of here."
What's the name of the what's the word? The posh guy.
Oh God, I loved him. Savoy
or whatever.
Savoy, yeah, I think so. I love him so much. I hope he gets excellent character development, but I don't know if he will.
I love him because he's annoying, like awfully annoying, but like not in a way that I hate him. And I don't know how. Like everything about him should make me hate him, but I don't.
Yeah. He's just like, oh God.
Hashtag silly Savoy.
Silly Savoy. He's so silly. We love him. I think Kvothe is a storyteller, being from a troupe and all. True. He did say, "The best lies about me are the ones I told." That's an interesting. I'm gonna, I feel like that's a larger discussion piece, for sure. Just about, storytelling in general with him. But yeah, I loved Savoy. He was pretty cool.
Isn't Savoy a place?
Is it? ChatGPT.
Google, actually.
Yeah, true.
With an A. It's a town in France. No, it's a region in France.
Savoy is a place. Ah,
It's spelled with an A as opposed to an O.
Savoy.
Savoy, France. Yeah.
Mm.
It's like the mountain region. It's the Alps region.
Mm-hmm. So chapters 38 and 39, they're both a little bit of a short summary. I feel like they kind of go together a bit. But chapter 38 is called Sympathy in the Mains. Kvothe attends his first class under Master Hem and begins to look into the history of the Chandrian without much luck. And then chapter 39 is Enough Rope, where Kvothe performs a demonstration of the 3 simple laws of sympathy in front of Master Hem's class. He is successful in winning over the audience and nearly, I don't know why I wrote nearly, he embarrasses Master Hem by burning his foot a bit.
Which of the chapters was the one where he embarrassed that poor girl?
The Master Hem. That was 38. That made me uncomfortable.
That made me cringe. Like,
yeah,
I was like, come on,
Gates
Patrick.
Of Hell. I was like, dude, yeah, no, that made me like actually uncomfortable. I was like, that poor girl. Like, okay. For context, the chapter or the moment that we're talking about is, I think, in chapter 38 when Master Hem is. There's a couple young boys who come in, and he says like, "Oh, you're late. I'm gonna have you write a report on this thing because you were late and for this reason." And they're like, "Oh God." And then a girl comes in late, and he's like, "Oh," and he escorts her like to her seat. He's like, "Oh, don't worry at all that you were late. You know, by all means, please have a seat." And then she does, and he's like, "By the way, could you please close your legs?" And she's like, "Okay," and closes. And then he goes, "Well, now that the gates of hell have closed, we can move on with our lecture." And I went, "Oh,
so
what the fuck?"
The thing I didn't get is, was he just being a complete asshole, or was she like not wearing underwear or something? Like,
I don't know. It's not clear. I don't think.
I mean,
I want to say
either
asshole.
either way, being an asshole, but like,
yeah,
it's so weird. Man.
Yeah, there are better ways to make a sated character. Exactly. Yeah, like that was a weird thing to put in. I don't know. Yeah, ew, I hate this man immediately. Yeah. Yeah.
It just, yeah, as Coalfire so eloquently put it. Come on, man.
Yeah. And it was that was like.
But why does it matter if he's why do you need to make him a misogynist? It's easy to make him an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? Unless
take him to be a huge misogynist.
Unless later on that comes up as an issue. But like, otherwise it just seems like, hey, there's a woman here. Let's use her as a plot device. How do I want to use women? Oh, I know, sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fair. I don't know if this was something I inferred or something that was said, that she was one of, if not the only girl in the class as well. It was said, yeah, to make Kvothe care about women. I don't know. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, because if you think about, yeah,
at least one of them.
Because if you compare it, like Kvothe is very shy and like and describes women as beautiful, and like he's very polite and nice about that. Whereas you have old man Master Hem, who's a fucking misogynist, and yeah, it's just uncomfortable.
But Kvothe doesn't do anything about it.
No, he doesn't.
So
no one does.
That doesn't say anything about Kvothe at all. If anything, it says something negative about Kvothe, that he had to include it in his story, and didn't even bother to do anything to speak up about it.
Yeah. It was and there's bits too where it's like I don't quite really know what necessarily Rothfuss's his stance is for certain things. So like, for example, there's that where I'm like, oh, I hate this character. He's misogynist. That's gross. And then in another chapter, Rothfuss goes into a when he's talking about the Scarpy story, where Scarpy is talking about how Celatos goes to Aleph and he says, "Hey, these are the Ruach, they'll be defenders," and he describes each of the Ruach people, and one of them is he describes as the woman who was the first to experience unasked for touch of a man.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
that
went,
was
"Oh, that's rape. Cool."
that was weird. Why is that
Yeah.
part of your creation myth?
Yeah,
Like,
and like, because they were talking about other characters who like something tragic had befallen them, and I think that was so. Anyway, so like including that, I was like, okay, so that's painting that image of like feel bad for her. Good, obviously that's terrible. Awesome. And then we have moments like this where I don't know, like what he's trying to show other than him being a misogynist, but you could do it in other ways. So I don't know. It's little pieces that are brought occasionally up like that with women, and I'm like, I don't know if I like this or if you're like, are you trying to make a bigger point against like don't uh you know insult or abuse women or anything and all that, but
but look at all
also
these characters doing it that I don't say it's a bad thing.
yeah, I just don't really quite know, and I'm sure I think he would assume like he would like his message would be like obviously don't do this to
Yeah,
women. Women are cool, but
I don't think this is like a manifesto about
No.
how you should. Like,
no. Yeah, don't do this stuff. The way
Don't
Kavoth felt
try this
guilty
at
about
home.
not helping the boy. Ah, yes, interesting, Glow. The way Kavoth felt guilty about not helping the boy getting beat up, but doesn't have any feelings towards the icky comment toward the girl. Yeah. And if they're gonna pull this shit of just like, well, that was the time, I'm gonna fucking punch somebody. So, because that's what every medieval fantasy, like, bad written piece says. They're like, well, we're gonna put this in because that was the time. Fuck off.
Yeah,
That's what people wrote about. That's not doesn't mean it happened. Like that's not.
is that what people wrote about though?
Well, no, like her curves.
yeah.
I'm with you there, Amy. Yeah. So yeah, I don't quite know how I feel about it, which is interesting because it's halfway through the book. But they are icky comments that are coming out. So like I'm like, so yeah.
We'll see how he misogynizes the angel.
I mean, you could also say, well, like he also knew that he wanted to fuck around with Master Ham and he burned his foot because he's like, "Fuck you." That doesn't excuse his comment, but like, at least he did something, I guess. But
I mean,
that was after.
Literally said it was an accident. And he didn't think it would actually hurt him.
Yeah, true. It wasn't intentional. But yeah, then that brings us to chapter 40.
We gotta cancel Kvoth.
Cancel. Just hashtag silly
cancel
Bast.
Kvoth.
Cancel Kavoth. Support Bast. We love Bast in this house. Even though he's also a bit of a womanizer.
Yeah, but maybe
Less so.
he doesn't seem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cancel Kavoth with a K.
With a K. Yas.
Beautiful. Interesting. So yeah, that brings us to chapter 40, which is called On the Horns. Kavoth is summoned by the masters to receive punishment for his use of sympathy and on Master Hem. And Master Hem charges, or the charges included thrashings and expulsion from the school. Thrashings. Kavoth convinces them to reconsider, and he becomes a member of the Arcanum. Because he's like, fuck you, it was a mistake. Which is actually kind of funny, because like everybody who's like, he's like, oh, you're getting called by the masters and the chancellor, and he goes, okay, and everyone's like, he's gonna die, and he comes back and he's like, I'm part of the Arcanum now, and they're like, what the fuck did you do? What? They're so impressed.
That feeds into one of my discussion points about is Kvoth a Mary Sue? Like, can he fail?
Mm,
Is he perfect? Like, is he too perfect?
mm. I mean, he does stumble.
I mean, not for very long.
Not often, yeah. Yeah. That's fair. I don't know.
So, how do you end up typing KJGDDKJ? Because the D is nowhere near the K or the J.
It's like graduating to a master's program on day 2 of your undergrad. Whoop, you hit my. That's okay. Hi.
It's like getting raised to and accepted the moment you step into the White Tower.
Hashtag read Wheel of Time. Yeah. Interesting. You can see Ares' shadow. Kvass is definitely a wish fulfillment character. I was going back through the first reading, and he does say he was expelled from the university when he was younger than they usually accepted people in. So I will see how that turns out. Oh, I didn't. I completely forgot about that. Well, shit.
Maybe he's gonna be expelled for pretending not to have blood.
The Bloodless. That's the next chapter name too. The 42.
Yeah, no, that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna pretend not to have blood when he gets whipped.
No. Yep.
I haven't read it. I just know that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they focus quite a bit on the blood in that whipping chapter, so I don't know.
That's 100% what it is. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, man.
He took cocaine and now he doesn't have blood.
He took crack cocaine. Interesting insofar as we know from the beginning that his ending is complex. Yeah. Yeah. There's another piece I wanted to talk about too, more about the first reading, but it's something that Ares and I talked about. But getting to the final chapter of this reading, which is chapter 41, Friend's Blood. Kvoth spends some time... Oh, wait. Hold on. I messed up something.
You missed a chapter.
I might have missed a chapter. No, I didn't. Sorry. Okay. Chapter 41,
Weapon.
Friend's Blood. The weapon.
Whip.
Weapon. Chapter
Cool
41. Cool. Friend's Blood.
Cool whip.
What do you have with your pie? You have Cool Whip. You're reading hair. It's so stupid. I love it. I'm on camera, by the way.
They're not gonna see you.
Okay, no, I don't know. I don't know. They can't.
They can't even see the
Okay.
Hashtag Aries reveal.
much as Benji would love to. But
Much as Benji would love to. Alright. Friend's Blood. Kvass spends some time in Willem, with Willem. In Willem, okay. With Willem.
Ooh, you read a very different chapter than I did.
It's because I wrote W and it looked like in. I wrote it quickly.
So you're reading like the alternate fanfic, right? Where
it's the spicy fanfic. See,
as
I know
opposed to
I'm
other fanfics.
yeah,
They're
fair.
all spicy. What's the point?
I
of
know I'm
fanfic
having
if
a-
not for spicy.
It's fair. I know I'm having a good time because my face is really warm and I'm sniffling now. So I'm laughing too much.
Name of the wind,
Okay.
but make it gay.
Make it gay. Hell yeah.
Gay. of
Amy
the wind.
writing fanfic already. Oh jeez. So he spends time with Willem in wait of his lashing punishment. That would have been far worse if I said that in Willem and continued that sentence. Anyway. He then attends to a crowd of people who watch the punishment. Kvoth is painfully whipped in the back, but he does not cry out. He leaves the space as calmly as possible once the punishment is finished.
Because he is high on crack cocaine.
Absolutely. High as balls.
The game
High as
of
balls.
the wind. Yeah, there you go.
The yay. Yay.
Gay!
Fucking Chang. Oh my
I
god.
love that.
So good.
I
But,
don't
yes.
understand how that. It feels like it should be very, very not okay, but it just isn't. It's just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Well, because Chang is like, because they're making fun of a
I guess
character
so.
like
Yeah,
Chang.
yeah. It's just
It's not. He's not being
stupid.
Yeah, it's a parody of a very stupid character. But yeah, those were the 21 chapters that we read, or 20 chapters. Anyway, 21 to 41. And that was the summary. So now we'll maybe go into a bit of discussion. Just generally.
Let's take a break first.
That sounds good. Quick break. Are you writing a Paul? What are you doing? Furiously typing. Also, Bo is here. Hi, Bo. Alright, what is this?
It's
gonna load. Okie dokie. Okay. Is Kabuk low-key gay? Hell fucking yes. Hell fucking yes. I can't vote. My computer's too goddamn slow. Okay, let me... There it is. Let's vote. How y'all doing? We're doing a co-stream with me and Benji's chair in space. But yeah. Oh, I should have wrote yes and also yes. That's the funnier way to do it. Oh well. The secret fourth option is definitely yes. I kind of want to know which new characters intrigued you the most. Ooh, that's an interesting question. I might wait till Benji gets back so we can both answer, but... I want to say... We met a lot of new characters in this session. Like, a lot of new characters. Maybe we'll use that as a starting point. I think I hear Benji coming back. Hi, Bo. You want to come on stream? Meow? Meow, meow? No? He's just staring at me. He's just like, mother. Why are you still looking at your laptop? The smarmy rich guy is funny. He's my favorite comedic character. Hi, Bo. Hi, baby Bo. Glow wants to see you. Come here, baby. Baby Bo. Come here. Come here, sir. Come snuggle. Come to me. Come here. I'm gonna pick you up like a baby if you don't come here. Okay. Baby time. Baby time. Come over here, my son. There we go. Just a baby. A baby. A baby. Hey.
I had to grab a snack.
A snake? A
Yeah.
whole snake?
A whole entire snake.
I've got a baby. A fluffy baby.
Guess what snack I got?
Cheese. Last time you got cheese. Cheese!
9 times out of 10, it's gonna be cheese.
I mean, 9 p.m. cheese makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the best thing you could hope to eat whilst doing a thing where you're talking.
Yep. You gotta pay the cheese tax.
You gotta pay the cheese toll to get into this boy's hole.
Is Kavath low-key gay? Yes. When I saw the poll, I was saying you should have said yes and also yes. I like that option better. Whoa, a baby.
So
I would like to see the baby.
what's interesting here is that yes won, but yes did not win.
Indeed. I think that was the second yes.
So therefore, yes and no both won.
Yes. So Coalfires, or Corwin, had asked, I kind of want to know which new characters intrigued you the most. And I wanted to wait till you got back to answer that.
I'm gonna wait till I finish eating my cheese.
No, you have to speak with a mouthful of cheese.
That was the other thing, other problem with the last time is I spent the entire second half eating cheese.
You didn't spend that much time, did you?
It was most of this discussion, yeah.
Cheese.
Because I had like a big old tub of curds.
Oh, you just grabbed the tub.
hmm
Nice.
I always
Big
eat
snack
cheese
of-
before bed. That way it gives me wacky ass dreams.
It's fair. When Corwin asked that question, I was just thinking about how many new characters we met, because we met a lot of new characters in this reading. to
Are
be
we talking
honest.
about new characters who we care about or new characters who we met in passing?
If it's characters who intrigued us the most, or I think that was the line, then I think we'd care about them.
Because I want to talk about the two girls running the inn.
Oh yeah, they were sweet.
I
Poor girls.
felt so bad.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, sorry, here's your food." Like,
They're like crying as he ran away
yeah,
because they couldn't help him.
I quite liked the innkeeper. I mean, he was very like he wasn't in there long, but he was nice.
So was
And then-
everybody else in the entire book.
Fair. Intrigued me the most though. I mean,
You may not be intrigued by minor characters. It is against the rules.
I think I mean,
Hey, that's why I name
re-
all my minor characters, because they might be interesting if I name them, right?
I mean, we learned more about Lon Ray, and I like his story and becoming Haliax. That was cool. I like that. Trappist was an interesting character, I feel like, and he was a focus, so we got a lot of him, but at the same time, not a lot of him.
He spread out a lot.
Yeah. And Scarpy was interesting. He intrigued me a bunch because I wanted to learn about his story, like his whole thing.
Oh yeah, Master Wacky Ass.
Master Wacky Ass.
Yeah, the namer guy that nobody.
Oh, that I
nobody
can't
seems to
remember.
respect.
Oh, the poor guy.
I get the sense
Yeah.
that he's like that. Nobody believes that whatever he's doing is actually a thing.
No, it's not Lauren. Lauren's the one who's the stoic person.
Eladon, yeah.
Eladon. Yeah, him. Yeah. I was trying to look up his name in the book or before we went to stream, and I couldn't find it. So thank you.
Master Eladon, the Master Namer.
Yeah, you could talk about that.
It took me way too long to realize that wasn't the word Namer. That was the word Namer.
Namer.
I was like, who's this Namer guy? Is he related to
Namer.
Namor?
Namor? Oh my god, Black Panther 2. Oh my god, Marvel.
Did you watch that?
Stop. I did. I
you like
really
it?
liked that one.
Yeah,
I did.
It was good.
It was very good.
I don't
And not
think it
not
was,
just because Namor was extremely hot.
I don't think it was as good as the first Black Panther, but I think it was very good on its own. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to see the new new Guardians of the Galaxy. I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah, I heard it was a lot of fun.
Can't watch
I
it
have
though
one friend
because
who went.
my roommate has COVID. And
No.
I can't go to a theater because that would be irresponsible. Your entire cam just went black from the cat.
There is no Ekami. There is only Bo. He had to walk across my laptop so then he could go eat his dinner, which was there was a path behind the laptop, but he's a cat, so hi Bo.
He needs the attention.
I'll say nothing further about Eladon. Eladon's going to be a big... If he's the master namer, they've already talked about the power of naming things and true names, long names of people. There's going to be a big thing with him, I bet. And I wanted to talk about long names, too, or just naming in general.
Yeah, what
I don't know
kind
how
of
much we
parent
could,
gives their
but-
child such a long name? I mean,
Like, the naming part of the magic system, like we know that from the Name of the Wind. It's mentioned a bunch of times. Like, that's how we're introduced to it. And then long names is like the first time you see like they spoke their long name. That was like the first time I think I saw it in this reading, or in the book. And that like that in itself has a lot of power because I mean, it's like it feels like it's it's kind of like you know that whole Feywild's Fey thing. If they know your name, they have control, total power over you.
Yeah.
I think it's similar to that, but
I was
I don't know.
joking about the scientific names earlier, but I think that's actually pretty close to how I picture what's going on there. Like a
Yeah.
combination between how, you know, when you speak Latin suddenly it has more power for some reason. But also like kind of reminds me of like kind of a unified theory sort of thing, like an alchemy. Like if you know its constituent parts, you can essentially create anything. So if you know a person's constituent parts, which is like whatever their long name is, so like I
Yeah.
don't know, if you know the person's like chemical makeup, you can fuck with it.
Yeah, which would tie in with the magic system anyway, because it seems to be based in that kind of alchemy or alchemical origin.
Maybe if you know a person's true name, that since that is themselves, it is the closest you can. It's the like the closest sympathetic link you can get.
That's true. And it's not necessarily even just like a person's long name, because the wind has a name. It's the name of the wind. You call the name of the wind, you control the wind. Or at least you try to.
And every time they use magic, they always whisper something under their breath, but he never says what it is. You ever notice that?
Do they? I don't know. I don't think I've noticed that. No.
Yeah, every time they whisper something.
Huh. I'll have to reread that. I'm sure they probably mention it in the Master Hem chapter.
Yeah. Because he spoke the binding, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's what you mean. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That
he's
makes
never
sense.
actually explained what they're saying or where that's coming from.
Yeah.
Like, because he has this whole it's interesting because he has the whole concept of sympathy, and then he's explained it so well, and then he's like, okay, yeah, but then you have to bind them together. That's it. You're not gonna explain that. Tell us about it. It's like you've explained the concept behind it of how it all works, but you haven't actually explained how the hell you do it. Like,
I mean, I assume it was. I mean, it's verbal for sure.
what does the saying words? If the point is that things are like closely linked, what does saying a weird ass word have anything to do with that? Like, how does that help? It doesn't.
Yeah, and he doesn't go into detail there. Yeah. And I don't know if he will, because I mean he's now gone into sympathy quite a bit. But I feel like if he was going to focus on it, I feel like he would have mentioned it then, like when he was learning from Ben.
I guess. Well, maybe.
But
maybe we'll get into it more once we learn about naming.
Yeah, maybe
For Master Namor.
Because my understanding is that maybe it is naming, like maybe it's speaking the long name or something
of the binding.
I guess of something, yeah, of what you are. Well, because you're binding two things, so do you speak both names? I don't know.
And obviously, there's a component of you have to believe that they're connected or something.
Yeah,
because they were all impressed that he could bind two things at once, which was because he could split his
perceive
mind
the two things at once. Yeah,
or something. I don't know how that helps, but like, what if you speak the random ass words, but you don't do the brain trick, then it doesn't work? Or
yeah, if I mean, that might be suggesting that if you're trying to cast some spell, if you're trying to bind two things, but you don't. But like you don't have faith in what you're doing, or you don't believe what's going to happen.
Do one, why would you suddenly believe that you couldn't do two?
Well, does it always come with two though? Like I thought it was just general. Like if you
that time he did two, and they were surprised. So if he could do one, then theoretically he could believe that he could do as many as he possibly could. Like I don't know.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It wasn't it called like a lair or a lure or something like that? Like that belief? I think so. Anyway. Something like that.
No. Yes.
No? Yes?
Something like
I
that.
think it was something with an A.
What was the one that he called him that we weren't sure what it meant, and we now realize I think that it means like freshman.
Elir? Elir.
Is that it?
E-L-I-R. Yeah.
Which is Alar versus Ilar, the riding crop belief.
Alar. Yeah, yeah.
Which I don't think he ever explained why they call it the riding crop belief.
I don't know. Yeah.
E.
E. E. E.
Yeah, Ilir is the freshman.
Ilir is the freshman. Yeah, the freshman. Yeah.
Right, I understand.
I'm
this
just
'cause of
intrigued.
Amethy's lesson, but none of that had to do with riding crops. Like,
Because
he
what was
dropping a
his
stone.
lesson? Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, he was trying to make him think that you could drop a stone and make it float or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it was floating stones. He said something about the donkey, no? Did he?
I don't remember that.
It might I mean, I might just be misremembering, but
I mean, donkeys aren't real anyway, so.
they can't hurt you. I think I'll grab there was some messages that we pinned, discussion points.
Oh yeah. While you grab those, I'm actually gonna fill my water because I forgot to do that.
Sounds good. I'll
I'm
take a few swigs
thirsty.
of mine. Thirsty. Alright. I'm just pulling up my phone. See if you got any others. Doesn't look like it. Okay. So, discussion points on Discord. So, we've already talked about the true name and the act of calling it, so that's something that I wanted to bring up. Another point I wanted to mention is the general discussion about the religious sects and how they are introduced, for example, through story. And related question, what is Scarpy's connection to the Talon Priest? We kind of talked a little bit about that, but we could go into it more. Maybe a general discussion on language and culture with this more prominent focus on Sheldon peoples, the Siaru language. And we've already talked about Haliax's origins and motivations. Benji mentioned creation myths that he wants to talk about. Human goodness / compassion. I think we talk a bit about human goodness / compassion. Where did my interludes go? We talked about that. Can Kavoth fail? Also talked about that. And discussion of new characters. Yeah. He said something about the donkey. No, the riding crop belief is on page 78. Oh, I will grab that. Thank you. Thank you, 4-1. 78. Oop, I just passed it. Here we go. Let's find it. He only called me a liar when he thought I was being especially willfully obstinate. Hello, the stick. Yes. Malicious glitter slapped. He slapped the side of the wagon with it, producing a sharp crack. One of Alpha's ears pivoted. Okay.
I also retrieved an olive because I saw it.
Okay. So, Corwin pinpointed where the donkeys are mentioned for that riding crop belief thing. So I was just reading it. So it's on page 78, where he says, good, he slapped the side of the wagon with it, producing a sharp crack. One of Alpha's ears, one of the donkeys, pivoted around at the noise, uncertain as to whether or not it was directed at her. That's the sort of belief I want. It's called a lar, riding crop belief. When I drop the stone, it will float away free as a bird.
That doesn't seem explained to me.
He unhooked the slapstick used to goad Alpha when they were being lazy. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean the donkeys are mentioned, but
Is it the fact that the donkey didn't know whether it was getting whipped or not?
I think so. I think that's the
Because he kind of really didn't explain that very well. If we weren't incredibly intelligent, we probably wouldn't have figured that out.
But I think that's what is the suggestion there. Fair enough. So, on the discussion points, we've already talked about a couple, so I don't know if we need to go into all of them, but I had written down general discussion about the religious sects and how they are introduced, i.e., through story.
I
Related,
prefer
what is
secular
Scarpi-
sex.
You know, I said it, and I was like, he's gonna make a joke.
I mean, it's in the name, secular. Come on.
Secular. Sexular priests.
What the hell's a secular priest?
I don't know why I said that. I'm tired. And then related, what is Scarpi's connection to Taylan priests? I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about it because we were talking about like creation, the creation myths with Telu and the introduction of Aleph and heresy. I don't know if I had anything else to add to that. I don't think so. Oh, and about the writing crop, it's because Kvothe is being cheeky when Abinthy asks if he believes in his parents, I guess. Maybe.
I don't remember.
That was,
I don't know. I didn't.
2 weeks ago.
At the time, I remember him saying "riding crop belief." Pulls out a riding crop, moves on. It's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
How does that? But I guess I kind of see it now.
We talked a bit about true name and long name and all that. We also talked about Haliax's origins and motivations, and language and culture. We talked a little bit about that. That's the Sheldon people, because I felt like in this Sheldon. I felt like in this reading, this section of the book, there was more of a focus on different languages and cultures, and Kvothe learning, like he knew about them, but he learned about specific like traditions or like viewpoints more. And I thought that was an interesting thing because we really didn't get like any of that in the first reading or first session. Yeah. Like even the Aturian Empire, like which ties into the Amur, and like because they were church knights for the Aturian Empire, I believe. But again, we don't know too much about them. We just know about like certain things. But anyway, but like going back to languages, like Kvothe talks a lot in this section about like the thickness of their accents.
But he doesn't actually explain the accents. He just says they had a thick one.
Yeah. Which I mean,
I do that too.
Paints.
I do that too. So
that's fair. I mean, that's.
I complained and then immediately realized that I was complaining about myself.
Well, because I think it paints a picture for whoever's reading it. If they're like, oh, how would I imagine this accent to be? Which isn't a bad thing in my opinion, but
the most I'll do is I'll say like they elongate their vowels or something like that, like just a hint at what it actually is.
Yeah.
Like the Shanchan who sound like Texans. Actually, I wanted to ask, because I haven't actually listened to the audiobooks. Do they read them with a Texan accent?
No.
What accent do they read the Shanchan with?
They don't really do accents often for characters. Like they'll do intonations, like octaves and all that, but they won't really do many. They don't really do accents.
So apparently Rosamund Pike goes hard when it comes to character reading. Like she acts. I'm curious. She just released the second one. Second book of her, I think.
Second book? Oh shit, nice.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how she does the. So I just watched that whole thing with the first book. I might actually pick up the audiobook of the second one, especially since I'm driving home this weekend. I might do that. Nice. Although I won't get to the Shanchan until like the end of the book, but whatever.
Yeah. I think the most that they do in the audiobooks is like I know the young woman doesn't really do a lot of changes in her intonation. What? What? Oh, sorry.
There's a lot of accents.
What?
There's a lot of accents in the audiobook.
For Wheel of Time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wheel
Sorry,
of Time.
because there's like, no, there's accents. I'm like, no, different book.
How dare you not know what we're talking about?
How dare you not know what we're talking about in a joking voice? Ares is goblining doing this. But yeah, so the woman who shares the narration, like, she doesn't really do it. The most they'll do for voices with the gentleman, at least, is that he'll do kind of like a really a higher, almost kind of goblin-y voice for the Dark Lord, who is from the start, the one who's chasing them in the dreams.
It's me.
And yeah,
Goblin boy.
Goblin boy. Like, he goes, well,
What,
you've won again, lose
you mean
there. And, like, he'll
Balsamon?
do that. Yeah, Balsamon. Yeah.
It's me, Balsamon.
Balsamon. What's up with that?
I'll haunt
But
your
yes.
dreams.
Lose there.
Oh man, that's my. I'm doing my like elf goblin voice.
Yeah,
from,
your elf. Yeah, Dark Side.
We need to do more of that stuff.
Yeah, we have a whole second
Well, not
game to play.
necessarily more dark side, but more like
Just more voice
voices.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I have a fuck ton of games that we could do that for. But yes, we were talking about accents. Yeah, he doesn't really specify the accent, just as thick, which I was like, okay. And then there's other interesting pieces too with like cultural traditions that Rothfuss talks about, where like when Derek's talking to Kavoth, he talks about how he was like, has the husband, Rowant, I think his name is, has Rowant ever given you money, or has it always been Rita? And Kavoth's like, oh yeah, no, I guess Rita usually does, because he was like, well, in Childish, they see the women more as like managing the money or giving money away, or like, you know, all that. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting.
Yeah, the men don't want to appear
thing.
womenly, so
Yeah,
they don't have to touch.
so they don't
money.
give money.
Only women touch money.
It was just interesting. I was like, okay. Yeah. But just like, and it's something that Kavoth, that was new to Kavoth. Like, he knew about
Specifically,
the Kaldish,
it was the men won't give money in any
Give
regard,
money.
but they'll accept it
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah. But the women can do it. But like she was always the one who was, I mean, yeah, like buying things, or, but and in that way, like, you know, it's saying like, oh, well, it's a womanly thing to do, but also if she's the only one doing it, she's keeping the caravan fucking alive. Like, she's doing all that shit.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Yeah.
she's doing the bit at the beginning of Oregon Trail when you buy things.
A Turian trail. Mhm. And then I think those were the main kind of points I talked about. But you had some points. Creation myth
say?
and all that.
Creation
Creation.
myths. I just kind of wanted to discuss them and how boring the first one was. I found the Telu stuff pretty uninspiring. I found the other stuff pretty interesting though.
Yeah, I agree. Lanre's story was great. I thought that was really interesting, and not
don't-
only because it relates to Haliax, but
I don't know if I mentioned this about the Lonray story before, but I was kind of annoyed that there's this whole big thing about Lonray dying, and then like Lyra dies immediately after, and everyone's like, I guess she died. It's like they make a huge deal about him dying, and then she's like, oh yeah, she died off screen. What?
well, yeah, because the whole thing that they had with her is that they don't know what happened to her. She and Lanray disappeared
Yeah.
for years. They don't know what happened.
It just felt like,
So-
oh, he died.
Yeah.
And then she died. What?
Yeah. It was a big thing and then a short thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
That was interesting. The contrast between those two stories is interesting. Yeah.
Well, one
I
of
like-
them I
oh,
think
sorry.
is meant to take place long after the first one, or maybe I clocked that wrong. Like the first one feels like a really long time ago, whereas the other one feels like a few thousand years ago.
Yeah, because it's talking about the
One of
Amber.
them feels Old Testament, the other one feels New Testament, basically.
Yeah, well, they kind of date it when, I mean, because the second story, the continuation of that story is Celitos setting up the Amber, and the Amber, like, Kavoth says that they haven't been seen for 300 years.
300
Specifically.
years, yeah.
Yeah, so that's around the time.
Well, they may have been
Are both
around
true?
for
Are
a
either
lot
true?
longer than that, but
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about this too, what you're saying, Corwin. So, when we were talking a bit about why Scarpy was grabbed for and accused of heresy, and the reasons for that, we were like, oh, maybe because like they're not portraying Telu in an all benevolent light who's super powerful and all that, because he's bowing to Aleph. So I want to say, I've talked about this with Aries too, like there are pieces of these stories that probably are correct, but they're not. I don't know if either of them are necessarily true. And that kind of lends to what Scarpy was saying of like, I know one story, but there's other pieces that are part of the story that I could tell you about.
yeah, like any creation myth, parts of it are going to be based in reality. Parts of it are very much not.
And that is an
The interesting thing is, I think we have a god who was around during that time. Who we're probably going to meet at some point, and it's probably going to give us some level of the true story, some degree of true story. I'm gonna say I think that'll happen.
And I think that idea, that question of, is this true? Are they both true? I feel like that might come up. That's maybe later on at some point, because, I mean, the whole thing is a story on Kavoth's part. He also says, like, best stories people tell about me are, like, my own lies or something, or lies of others. So it can create a larger discussion of, like, is Kavoth telling the truth? I mean, why wouldn't he? But yeah,
Why
I
would
don't
he?
know. It's interesting. Yeah, true. Because it's the best story if he's lying. Yeah.
He's got to be embellishing, right? There's no way he's telling it perfectly. Well, no, he has like hyper memory,
No.
doesn't he?
Good. Can Kavoth tell the truth? He only has his own perspective. Yeah, and I mean, like, that's for all these stories. I feel like Aries was asking me the same questions when I was reading. He was like, is this true? Is that true? This seems a little different than that story. And it's because it's all told from these different perspectives. Like you were saying, Corwin, like, Scarpy is kind of claiming it as history when you can't really necessarily do that. But then both are told in different ways too. Like both myths. I was gonna say creation myths, but they're not both creation myths. Because like there's the Telian like story of like how Telu came to be and his reincarnation, and that's very like, you know, it's biblical and it's chronicled and, you know, all that stuff. Bibble. And then there's the story of Lanre, which is more of like a legend, what I would equate to like a legendary saga in Icelandic myth, where they're talking about a great hero doing all this stuff. And those are oral stories. I mean, they're like, I don't know why. I don't know why I went there.
Well, the other thing I wanted to say was that was a hell of a dark story to tell to fucking children.
Yes. Yes, it was.
The hell, dude. I mean, like, water it down a little. And then he stabbed his own eyes out with a piece of glass.
Oh my god,
then-
right! I forgot about that.
What the hell?
I was like, oh, and then it became the oh god, Sellytoast the one-eyed or Sellytoast the true eye or something like that. I was like, god damn,
I don't know.
he's blind.
Glass eye. They call me Glass Eye.
Oh my glass
On
eye.
account of the glass
my
eye.
glass eye. I was gonna say that.
Called me Two Shoes McGee. Because I got two shoes. And this is my brother. 5 hands, because he's only got 2 hands.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get him, boss. Yeah.
But yeah, I I thoroughly enjoyed the Lanre story, and I thought the tale of the story was okay, if a bit long.
It just did not capture me.
That's fair.
Yeah, so human goodness, we kind of talked about already a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Bought water. Yeah, I don't have too much more to say on that. It's just like, it seems like everybody's kind of chill.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a few assholes, but for the most part, everybody's genuinely willing to help.
Yeah.
I said, where did my interludes go? We talked about that. We talked about Kvoth being perfect. Did we talk about Kvoth being perfect? Maybe we didn't.
Yeah, no, we did. You were like, is he a Mary Sue?
I mean, did we have a discussion about it though? I mentioned it.
We could talk about it more. We didn't go into it very much.
We don't have to. It just struck me that it's like at every turn he just lucks into goodness or does something extraordinary. Like he either does something extraordinary or has crazy good luck.
Yeah.
The only true terrible thing that's happened to him so far is his parents died. Every other bad thing that's come off the back of that is like normal bad stuff that happens when you are either his fault or normal bad things that happen off the back of just the fact that you are an orphan in a large city at a time period where nobody gives a shit. Like, I don't know. It's just I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, so. Oh, hi, sir. We establish early that he's very, like, he catches on to things really quickly for his age. Faster than, like, Ben is noting this. Faster than other kids would. And he's multi-talented. Mostly from his exposure to a lot of different kinds of like performing arts and things with traveling with the troupe. He is able to survive, although he gets the shit kicked out of him a bunch of times in Tarbaean. But it's not like it's specific to him. It's like any kid who would go to Hillside, that would have happened to them.
Right.
So I mean, there's other characters that I've read or watched or something where they seem perfect at everything, and I don't get that feeling from him necessarily.
Really? I find it a little bit like, okay, he did that again. Like, he's the one person who this happened to, and wow, nobody's ever done that before, and just every single turn he's like the best at something.
I think he kind of outwits or like kind of not cheat. Well, yeah, no, he kind of cheats his way through some things. Like, I mean, with the university, like that was not fully all of his knowledge.
Yeah, but like,
he's smart about certain things. He's still lucky. He's like that. All of that happened. Like he's still, got asked to like got summoned by the masters and the chancellors and came out with just a lashing, as opposed to expulsion. Related to Is He Perfect, I want to know what your thoughts are on young Kvoth's character / personality now that we know him a little bit better.
Young being like our
Like
entire time of having or of knowing him, or just like before he got to
Tarbean.
Tarbine.
Yeah, no, I get the feeling like he is extremely talented at a lot of stuff and he can adapt very quickly. But there's other characters who I've been like, oh, this jerk. Sorry, the cat.
Black screen.
Like, oh, this is happening again with other characters where I just don't really care about them as a result. But because he's learning, I think that's the biggest thing for me. That he's actually like, he does make mistakes, he learns from them, he gets a little witty and shows compassion and seems more human in that sense.
So non-Innkeeper Kvoth.
So what we've read then so far.
What are our thoughts on his personality?
He's a little shit.
Yeah,
He's a bit of a shit, but but in an endearing way, because I actually do like him as a character.
He doesn't seem to have any character flaws.
I would argue that because
the only character flaw he has that I can possibly point to is a bit of naivety that is almost exclusively related to his being stuck in the city and having to adapt to that.
Yeah.
And obviously when he was a young kid, like, there are things he didn't know, but like,
yeah. For me, I think one of his big weaknesses is, and I don't really know how else to say this, but he gets too big for his britches a lot. And then it comes to bite him in the ass a few times. And he's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Okay.
I guess like when he tries to attach his lungs to the air.
Yeah. I can name the wind. Never mind. And like I think he makes mistakes and he learns from them. And this doesn't happen rarely, in my opinion. Like, it happens, like he's still talented, and he's still like, oh yeah, I'm talented, I'm lucky, I'm gonna get through all this stuff. But I just wouldn't see that. I wouldn't say that he has no flaws. Because I don't see him as perfect. I see him as learning a lot, and I see him as someone with a lot of promise and, like, what's the word? I don't know, but a lot of talent and promise, and he's learning about a lot of stuff.
I know. He has chutzpah.
Chutzpah! That's a good one. He gives me the no one wanted me around, nice binder goob, hey goob, wanna hang out, they all hate. Oh! from Meet the Robinsons. Have you seen that movie?
No, but I get it.
Yeah. They all hated me. A little. Because he gets, like, so obsessed with something. Yeah.
His what he describes as actually happening is often at odds with how he reacts to it and how he then kind of summarizes it, if that makes sense. So, like, kind of like what you said, like, he'll show someone being good and then say, like, I never had any opportunities to, like,
yeah,
like, nobody ever helped me. Here's all these examples of people helping me.
Yeah. Which is a very, like, childish thing to say. And then as he's growing up, he's getting a little better about it.
But then he plays his lute and so well that it makes everybody get a tear in their eye.
See, I really like that chapter because that was
like
him
that
just
chapter too.
reconnecting.
It's great, but like, it's just yet another thing where he's perfect at it, or like the best ever at it, or whatever.
I mean, okay, fair, but like he also would have had a lot of practice from playing the lute for like years until his fingers bled and being in a troupe.
And then he hadn't played it for 4 years, and it took him no time at all to suddenly be the best again.
And I kind of like that, but that's just me because I also like how Rothfuss described it.
I liked
because
it too, but
like,
it was unrealistic.
Fair.
I mean,
guess in my opinion, that doesn't trump it for me because I'm
fiction,
like,
but
yeah, I like that idea of it being like a magical sudden thing because the way he describes it was that he had this shell and it cracked.
Yeah,
and he was like,
if
I remember everything. It's like riding a bike.
If it was just that on its own, I'd be fine, but it's just after constantly that, it just feels like fair. Yep, there's another. Oh, yep, there's another. Oh, they're gonna whip him. Oh, yep, now he's gonna know some knowledge that nobody else apparently knows about this random weed in order to make it so that he doesn't feel it. Okay, Kvothe.
Interesting. I wonder if like that's why I really like having this discussion too, because like it's clearly we like I fully understand also where you're coming from, but it's just a different viewpoint as I'm reading for me.
I think you'll find that nobody else is allowed to have any viewpoints that are different from my own.
I am the true answer to everything.
I am the Kvothe of opinions.
Whoop! Hit my mic. Whoop! And I oop. Yeah.
Oopum Gangnam Style. Oop, oop, oop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oop. Hey,
yeah, no, there is
sexy lady. Oop, oop. Oh, fuck, that's gonna be stuck in my head for the next year.
Wonderful. Congrats. Congrats, you well done. Yeah. I'm interested to see if there's going to be something that, like... What?
That's a good poll idea.
What is? Oop. Poll is VT Loves right. 1, yes. 2, also yes. 3, definitely yes. Corwin, is that a Gravity Falls reference? I hope so. Yes. Also yes. Definitely. Absolutely. I rigged it. Well, I can see it, but I don't want to. It doesn't load on my computer until a minute, so I'll respond in a bit.
What's Gravity Falls?
What?
Out of chat. Get out of chat. You're not allowed.
Is that gonna be wrong? Oh, fuck you. No, what's Gravity Falls? Yeah, no, it's good. It's a cartoon. It's on Disney Plus if you want to watch it.
It's a kids show.
Mysteries.
It's not a kids show. It's a kid.
It's not a. It's really not. It's
a kids show for adults.
Yeah, it's very good.
Or it's an adult show for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's about like a pair of twins go to live with their great uncle in Oregon, Grunkle Stan, and they find a mysterious book and there's paranormal things happening and it's fun.
My uncle is named Randy, and his grandkids call him Grandy.
That's pretty great. I love that.
You only consume books?
Not a book, man.
I think there's a comic, isn't there?
Gravity Falls?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's the story. I think it's like an extra thing, but
I don't think I've read it. They have the journals which you can buy, but
yeah, there is.
Nice.
Gravity Falls Lost Legends.
Hmm.
It's the
But also,
official Gravity Falls comic.
Yeah. I went to school with Coalfire, so I can confirm they do love their books.
It's a series of stories told by the gnome Shmebulok.
By the gnome? Oh my god. Schmerberlock. Throwback to when they announced Cecil Baldwin was going to be voicing a character and everyone thought it was going to be another thing like Bill Cipher, and then he ended up being the most normal guy. Wait, who did Cecil Baldwin voice? I didn't know that.
Who's Cecil Baldwin?
He's well, Glow, you can answer, but and then whoever voiced Phil
that
Cipher
guy.
was excellent. Yeah. Tad Strange.
What's he known for?
Tad Strange? Who the hell is Tad Strange? Just like a random guy
He's
in the
the Welcome
background?
to Night Vale guy. Oh.
Oh, I thought so. I was like, yeah, Cecil. Oh, Tad Strange. I do remember him now. Okay. A one-off character, that's fair.
You'd think I would know about the Night Vale guy.
Yeah, you were on the show for, well, your band was on the show. You were the music. Or the weather, sorry.
My voice was on the show.
Did you introduce the band?
No, I sang it.
Oh, yeah. But yeah. I'm looking at the discussion points. I think we talked about a lot of the other discussion points.
Oh, he voiced Tad Strange.
Yeah, Tad Strange was like he was a one-off character. He looked like a Mormon. And he was like super normal. Like, I'm the normal guy, but his name is Tad Strange.
No relation.
A secret fourth yes? What does that mean? I'm not wrong. No, the kids are wrong.
Nobody selected inverse no. Yeah.
Inverse no. Sag.
Actual Sag.
Hmm.
Do we have anything more to talk about the book?
I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about from my end.
Does chat have anything else they want to chat about?
You were wrong about Arleden. Shut up, Corwin. I like Arleden, but Arleden is also fine. If I say Arleden, I think of Charlatan.
That's because you are one.
How dare you?
Yeah, chat. Hold your forever hold your pieces. Okay, my brain just did a thing. It resolved the speak now or forever hold your peace, and it
Yes.
translated to speak now or forever hold your peace as in your gun.
All right.
Because we're gonna shoot you and we're gonna bury you with your gun. If you
Yeah,
don't speak
great.
now. Yeah.
Speak now. Do it. Fucking do it.
Speak now. Are we reading book 2 after this? I don't know. I think we're gonna put it up to a
Be a
poll
vote?
or a vote or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's the American version of the saying, yeah.
Mm.
It's speak now or we'll shoot your children with guns.
Great.
It's so I without doxing myself, I'm from Vermont. You guys know this, obviously. That one's not a dox. But I now and when it comes to the whole like shootings and stuff, it never happens in Vermont. Seldom happens
Really?
in New England. But it's as far as I know, it's there's never been a mass shooting in Vermont. I mean, the people have been shot. Obviously, there's Rutland, but now I live about 10 minutes away from a city that every single day I get notifications of people being shot. It's not mass shootings, but it's just
Really, eh?
yeah, every day. And
Jeez.
but if I had been told someone in like 3 counties over back home had been shot, like oh my god, like like, that's what the hell? Like, I think someone got shot in a town nearby me recently, and it was a huge deal. We're back home.
Oh, really?
But it happens every day here, and I don't even like it. I don't feel like it doesn't even feel weird. It's just like, oh, okay.
Really?
Yep, that happened. Yeah, and it's 10 minutes away. I don't understand how my brain did that.
Yeah.
Now, that's like compartmentalizing. Compartmentalize. Yeah, did I say that right?
Yeah. Compartmentalizing, yeah.
Yeah. At its finest.
Mm.
At its
enough.
Americanist.
Mm. Interesting.
They don't have guns in Canada, right?
Guns don't exist in Canada.
Yeah.
Mm. So,
Oh yeah.
I don't really. Found this. Mass shootings by state, Vermont. I can't. My computer would explode if I clicked that link, so I'm gonna hold off.
Zero.
0 is the answer.
3 number of school shootings 3.
Oh wow.
Really?
Huh.
That surprises me. I haven't ever heard of that happening.
Hmm.
It doesn't have any actual like sources though. So apparently it's rank 49 of 51. I don't know what 50 and 51 are. It doesn't say. Does it?
I think it's on a per year basis rather than all time, but it's not clear.
Oh, versus 2021. I would, if that number is real, I 100% am sure that is happening in Rutland, which was at one point, probably is not currently, but was the heroin capital of the world, United States at least. They what happens is they buy it cheap in New York City and drive it up I-95 up into Vermont, where they can sell it to rich country club people for like 3 times the price. So it ends up turning up in Vermont a lot. So we get a lot of like bright young people who end up being hooked on opiates. Currently, in the U.S. this year, there have been 648 mass shootings. Nearly 2,000 number of school shootings. Jeez.
Jeez. That is a lot. Yeesh.
I wonder if maybe it's Rhode Island that's 50, just because it's so small.
I hope it's not 2023 so far. Yeah.
Oh no, wait, here's the list. West Virginia and Wyoming. And this also, there's 51, so I'm assuming it's listing, oh, it's listing DC as a state. Okay. Which is technically wrong, but should be right.
Fair.
Not to bring down the energy of the stream or anything.
All good. I was just thinking it may be a good point to
do an outro?
figure out do an outro, figure out where we're reading to, and then do an outro.
Before doing an outro, don't we?
My thinking is that we go from 42 to 61, because that will take us to page 455.
Why does it look so much shorter? Oh, I guess I was thinking we were around half, but we're a bit before half. So
yeah,
if we do it this way, which is fine, we're either going to end up with a short one at the end or a big one at the end.
Well, because if we do, let's say if we split it up by the 150 pages, so then we'd be basically going till 600 on the next, like page 600. And there are
So yeah, it'd be
700.
750. I guess.
It'd be like 720, or sorry,
I
120.
guess that's fine.
It's
It'll
not
give us
that
more
off.
time to talk about the book as a whole, anyway.
Yeah, because we'll need that for sure.
So what was the chapter number?
42 to 61.
60.
Like, as in read 61. So we'd be coming up to chapter 62, but we wouldn't start it yet. Jackass?
That's the name of 61.
Fair enough.
Leaves is chapter 62. I wonder if that's about him leaving the university. Spoilers, fuck. I spoiled myself.
Fuck!
No,
God damn it.
I think that might be leaves as in leaves of a tree.
Mm,
Is my
perhaps.
guess, maybe.
Mhm.
It's either that or he's leaving.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What was the number of the chapter? Because I already forget. 42? 52.
42
62.
is 42 to the end of 61.
42 through 61.
Yes, correct. Okay. Well, got that sorted.
A great chapter to end on. I can't tell if that's sarcastic or not.
That is fair. Well, Corwin's pretty sincere, usually. I mean, it can also be sarcastic. So I like to think it's a sincere comment.
Alright, you ready?
I think so.
How did we do it before?
Hold on.
Um,
I had said,
I think I.
thanks so much for watching.
I mean, like
we were going to do the transition ones, right?
Well,
We need to figure that out.
We
yeah.
won't be able to do that until we've split
Yeah.
split down the middle. But I mean, like, I think we swapped it, right? So, I think in our first video, I started speaking, and then you finished speaking, or I finished speaking. I forget.
You finished it because you wanted to transition into, like, usually you started, but this time we didn't do that, so it's fine. So last time we did it, yeah.
So I'm the starter.
Yes. Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm.
Right,
so you would say thanks for watching, and then I would say we're gonna read these chapters, and we'll be live on Twitch 2 weeks from today, and we'll put this on YouTube.
All right.
Cool.
Who starts?
You do.
Okay. We don't have to clap. And I'm actually recording my audio this time, which is good.
Mm.
And thanks for watching. No.
Because the pause was long, I was like, I'm going to smile, like, and try not to laugh. Anyway.
A great chapter to end on. You mean it sincerely. Okay.
Nice. Wonderful.
Good. All right. Thanks for watching our second reading of book club. Hope there's many more. And what were we reading? We were reading chapters 21 through 41. And likewise, we are going to be reading chapters 42 through 61.
Mm-hmm.
This, in the next reading, we will be streaming this on Twitch on Wednesday, on every other Wednesday, and we will then upload to YouTube soon after. We'll see you guys in the next reading.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
How was that?
That was good. I think it was good.
Too rambly? Good?
No, I think it was sincere. It flowed.
All right, we'll get better at it.
Yeah. Good night.
You
we
don't
get
have
to figure out who we're gonna raid.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah,
leave
we
right now.
were just doing an outro.
That was the video ending.
Yeah. So, raid wise though, who could be bird?
Feel free to cut out like 90% of the last half hour.
Nah, that's fair. Yeah, when I go through it, I'll figure out what I'm cutting.
But I don't know if I said to answer whoever was asking about what book is next. Um,
Oh yeah, that was Corwin. Yeah.
yeah, I think the plan is to basically come up with some options from you guys. Honestly, start putting options in right now if you want into the discussion.
Yeah.
If you have any ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put it to a vote, and
Mm.
we can figure it out from there. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys vote for book two.
I have book 2, so
I don't. I was kind of hoping for to mix it up a little bit, but
yeah,
I
that's fair.
also don't care.
Wheel of
so it's
Time.
not my. No, I've already read that. Is the problem.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't. I mean, if people wanted to, if that was genuine an option people wanted to do, I'd be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
But like, I could talk for hours about that.
Yeah.
But that's not like. Yeah.
Mm.
I kind of want to read books I haven't read.
Same. There's a bunch by like V.E. Schwab that are fantasy books called like A Darker Shade of Magic, which apparently are very popular.
I've
So
heard that name.
yeah.
Okay, you know what? I was mentioning last time that I don't think I've ever read a epic fantasy book written by a woman. I don't know.
V.E. Schwab would be good.
Is that
Yeah.
is that a whammon?
I think so. I think V.E. Schwab is a wayman.
Also, we there's no rule that says we have to read fantasy.
No.
Um,
I would like to read more fantasy. That's my
Yeah.
thing, but
fantasy is a good genera.
V.E. Schwab is a wayman.
Okay.
Hmm.
Does the 5th season count as epic fantasy?
I don't know what that is.
Then we don't have to watch the first 4 though.
The
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
5th season by N.K. Jemisin. 5th season is it doesn't tell me about the story. Tell me about the story. Plot. It's the whole plot. No, just give me like a summary. I hate when Wikipedia is like, here, you want a summary? I'm going to talk about this, how this book won a bunch of awards, but not actually tell you the summary. Oh, you want the plot? Here's a spoilered version of the plot.
Oh, by the way, I think I have a title for my book.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What is the title?
I think, I mean, it might change, but I think it's going to be The Sleeping Stars.
That's nice.
And and it's going to open with a epigraph, which is a poem which talks about the sleeping stars.
Cool.
And has is important for the rest. Oh, that's a good point. I should probably mention that. As I was saying to Amy, if people are watching and they care, I'm potentially looking for input on my novel. So if people are willing to read an entire fucking novel that's in an unfinished state and kind of have a actually give like responses to it and like suggestions, I'm perfectly happy to open source it a bit, just because I like, I don't know, I need a kick in the ass. Although I am at a, I think it was like 2 days ago, I mapped out the ending, so I know the ending. I haven't written the last word, but I know it. I know the ending.
Okay. Nice.
There's a bunch of sections I skipped that I'm gonna have to go back through and fill in. So probably still gonna end up shooting around for around 200,000.
Nice.
I'm at like 175 ish.
Nice.
But it's set in a world where Father Earth hates humans, and every few centuries creates an extinction level natural cataclysm known as the 5th season. That sounds cool. How is that, like a short one, like a like a novella? It feels like a novella, like a science fiction novella.
So the book description that I grabbed from Amazon says, at the end of the world, a woman must hide her secret power and find her kidnapped daughter in this intricate and extraordinary Hugo Award-winning novel of power, oppression, revolution. This is the way the world ends, ... for the last time. It starts with the great red rift across the heart of the world's sole continent, spewing ash that blots out the sun. It starts with death, with a murdered son and a missing daughter. It starts with betrayal and long dormant wounds rising up to fester. This is the stillness, a land long familiar with catastrophe, where the power of the earth is wielded as a weapon, and when there is no mercy. That is the description.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's,
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I like it.
I could have sworn that the first line you read there was familiar.
The end of the world, a woman who must hide her secret power and find her kidnapped daughter.
No,
A great red rift.
no,
This is the way the world ends. ... for the last line.
yeah, that sounded familiar.
I don't know.
I don't
At least
know
this trilogy is complete. Yeah, it's fair. Patrick Rothfuss adds another month every time someone asks him when he's bringing the third book out.
why. Everyone go ask him.
Yeah. Oh God. It was apparently supposed to release in July of 2022.
What time is it?
It is 10:43.
It's
I
earlier
have to
than
get
what
ready
I
for bed
thought,
soon.
actually.
Fair. I
I
have to get ready
gotta-
for bed soon. I am the tired.
I gotta do a COVID test tomorrow, so I gotta get my beauty sleep.
Yay.
Here's how that works.
Yep.
No, I
Who
don't
shall
think
we
that's how it
raid? Let's see.
works.
I've got maybe one person in mind, but
Prize.
that's about it. Maybe two people.
Ekami is streaming.
Oh my God.
The only person I have is Saber.
Saber, yeah. I've got Saber in second place, 92. I think second place is doing a speed run for Ocarina. We could raid Saber. I've raided Saber for a while.
Saber is playing Bloodborne.
Bloodburn.
I almost did raid Bloodborne. Spell Safer.
Spell Saber. Thank God there's no shortage of stuff to read while I wait. That's fair. Anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out. This is good stuff. We'll be back on May. What day? What
My
day?
raid is gonna expire by the time yours is ready. I'm gonna have to restart.
Oh no!
I'll probably have
Alright.
to restart it.
Okay. Be back on May 24th. That is 2 Wednesdays from now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Yes.
May 24th, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And if that is a day that we can't do, we'll just adjust the
I
schedule.
think it's fine.
I think it's good. I know that works well for me because the next week I'm in a conference, so
I'm gonna send you my video because I don't think I can.
yes. And I'll combine it with my audio for the first half.
Yeah. Also, what was I gonna say? Fuck. Oh yeah. Do you want to keep swapping chapter summaries?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
All right.
My raid's gonna start soon, so I'm just gonna
7, 6, 5, 4, 3. All right. Bye, guys.
bye. If my raid goes through.
All right.
Oh,
So,
there we go.
hit me up. That's loud. Hit me up once you're at a point where you're ready to do
Hope you're all doing awesome.
bookend
Double raid!
recordings, and we can do that.
You were doing the book club again.
Yes, that sounds
How
good.
was it? How are the next set of chapters? What do you think?
I'm gonna try to.
Mine might be a
Welcome in.
shitty
How are you
recording
doing?
because I'll be home, but
Oh, ow.
That's okay.
No.
Um,
Stop it. Ow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to edit,
Sonic Baker getting shout
like
out
to
for
start
Let's
editing
and for Acme. Welcome in. How are y'all
on the
doing?
weekend.
How's the book?
I'm gonna
club?
try to
How's the
edit
book?
within, like,
How
the
are
2
you-
weeks
how
kind of
are
thing.
you
Don't
enjoying it?
like
Hopefully everybody's
push
having an
yourself
awesome
as
time.
long as it's
Welcome
out
to my Wednesday
within
bonus
before the
stream
next
of I
one. That's
died
probably
trying to
fine.
fight wicked hard
Yeah.
bosses.
It's not too hard. It's just cutting.
certainly a stream
Yeah.
that we're doing here.
And you just did, like,
it was not an intentional stream. But welcome in. I'm Spellsaver.
The
if
fade
you don't
transitions,
already
like
know
not the fade out, but like
over here
the
we play indie
the
games, RPGs,
combine,
and a little
you
bit
know?
of
I don't know how
everything
you do it in
between.
your program, but you can select all and just say add transition to all.
We're near the end of Bloodborne.
And that's
we're
what I
doing
did.
the DLC stuff.
Oh.
And
Made it
let me
way
just tell
easier.
you, it is.
That's fair.
A
I'll have to do it
thrilling game.
I'll have to do it
If you
individually.
have a favorite game that you would like me
I mean,
to
if you
completely
have
tear
any
apart
trouble,
as I play through,
Yeah, I'll
let
let
me
you know.
let me know.
Yeah.
I can either do it on my computer
it's
from remote,
fun. It's fun having some
or
some
wait till I get back and do it.
some takes on
That's
a game
fair.
that everybody's like, it's so good. I'm like, there's
what
so much about
format
this game
and
that I
what,
should love. And
aspect
there's so much about this game
no,
that I'm
what
not
format
a fan
and what
of.
size did you export to? Like size as in like
Ow.
1920 times
Fine,
1080 or
go for it,
something.
it's fine. Okay. We open
Oh, I'm
the
still
door.
streaming.
Come on, guys. Open
I'll
a
stop
little
my stream.
faster. Who's there? Chop. Good job, buddy.